All right, y'all. Let's do this. Thank you guys for being here. We're going to get started now. We got a nice rainy atmosphere going on. Just making sure that we're live before I kick off the intro. All right, let's do it. What's up, Daniel? Fadazard. K2D8. What up, Mella? Drive safe. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Exposing Powerful Lies. Ahoy, ahoy. What's going on, Moldy Apple? What's going on, Mella? You drive safe now. Thadazor, Daniel, K to the 8. Going back to Randy West, a.k.a. Randy Balls. And who else is up in here? Satan Slayer. I saw Satan Slayer here earlier. Good to see you all. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm excited as well. Okay, well, Moldy, you drive safe as well, dude. Don't be swerving on my account. Good to see all you guys here, man. I'm excited for this show. I'm enjoying these way too much, dude. Like the first one I did the other day, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna make this my whole shtick here. Don't worry, we're getting back to the original, content soon, and we are. All right, we are. But man, dude, I'm enjoying these so much. Every time I get done with one, I freaking end up watching another, radio show, when I'm just like laying down, going to sleep, and I'm like, oh, that would make a really good show. So we're back again. We're back again here doing this thing that we do. You know what I'm saying? Do a bit of both. Yeah, we do a bit of both. What's going on? What's going on, Jethro? Almost hit a wild Lizzo. Dude, those are getting rare nowadays. Lizzo. I heard they scuttled back under the rock from whence they came because of that whole banana thing, and that one comedian chick made fun of her and it hurt her feelings. What's up, Jethro? Up in the house, y'all. Good to see you, Jethro. Good to see you, Gamafu. Long time no see. What's up? What's up? So, the origin story of today's stream. Today we're going to be covering two of my all-time favorite people in the realm of fiction, especially old-time black and white fiction, Orson Welles and Rod Serling. These are two of the all-time greats, in my opinion. Just made the coffee. Got my Meowdy partner mug. Where is it? Oh, which hand is it? There we go. Check that out. Meowdy partner. Got my coffee ready. We're going to be covering Rod Serling and Orson Welles. And the origin for today's show, I was talking with our homie Baselit Analyzer. If you guys don't know Baselit Analyzer, be sure to go and subscribe to him. And we were talking, he hit me up to do a Citizen Kane stream. So we were talking about Orson Welles, and he was like, "Oh, I know you love these old movies, and you mentioned Citizen Kane on your last show," and it made me realize, oh, I got to do it. Somebody asked me to do a show on that. We should do that. And as you guys know, I've been sick, and this thing's just been kicking my ass, dude. The last time we did this show, I told you guys, oh, I've been sick for 10 days. I had frickin' bronchitis, and then it cleared up for 2 days. It must have turned into walking pneumonia or something, because I had 2 days of, good to go. Then I did that show, and I don't know, I feel like I look a lot better. I went back and I checked out that show I did last time, the radio show, and I mean, I looked like garbage. And right around the time that Crucible raid happened, I started really feeling like, oh man, I'm not feeling so good. Then the raid happened, so I'm like, well, I got to keep going. I was going to wrap it up at that point. The raid happened, so I wanted to make the most of it. So I I kept going. And by the time that we were done, my ass was in the dirt. So, we finished up the show, and I lay down. And the next morning I woke up, and my throat was swollen shut, and I slept the whole day through. And I was like, oh, this is not good, dude. This is really not good. I was afraid I had pneumonia or something, but I'm not the kind of guy to go to doctors. I just don't do that. Unless it's like life or death, or unless it's like a serious infection that I know it's not going to, my body's not going to be able to handle. I stay the hell away from doctors, man. Those guys are just... They're safe and effective, and they're wonderful, and God bless our medical workers and all of that. But they're not sticking a PCR test up my nose. They're not doing any of that crap. So I was, doing my own self-doctoring here, just pounding back vitamin C, pounding back vitamin D3, zinc, and frickin' all the stuff, apple cider vinegar, and So glad to report I'm feeling pretty good today. I'm feeling great. Hopefully we don't have a repeat of the last show. But I'm feeling good, man. So anyway, I was talking to BLA, and I told him, he wanted to do the show that night or possibly tomorrow. And I told him, I'm just not up for it. And then Friday, tomorrow, I got to go to my girlfriend's from Friday till Sunday. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do that show with Henley. But I'm excited to announce that he is going to be doing the show with DPH from Church of the Eternal Logos. So hopefully they keep that for Friday. Because I really want to see that, man. I really want to see a DPH, BLA, Orson Welles stream. But so that got me thinking, and I told him, I said, we got to do Lady from Shanghai. That's my all-time favorite Orson Welles film. So I think me and Henley are going to do a Lady from Shanghai stream coming up soon. So that got me thinking about Orson Welles, and I was thinking about the radio shows, and I'm like, what Welles radio shows could we do? I don't want to do War of the Worlds, because that one's kind of long, and last time I listened to it, it's good, but I wasn't very enthralled by it or anything. And then I remembered he did The Hitchhiker. And The Hitchhiker was a really great horror radio show from 1941. And it was so good. And you know who heard it the first night it aired was Rod Serling heard it. A young Rod Serling heard that episode of The Hitchhiker the very first day it was on the radio. And it stuck with him for all the way up until he started making The Twilight Zone. And then he made that episode of The Twilight Zone, The Hitchhiker. So I know KF isn't up in here, but last show, KF called me out on a bargain of blood and said it was a Twilight Zone episode. So I'm just getting in before she can correct me. This one for sure also is a Twilight Zone episode. So naturally that brings my brain to Rod Serling. And I remembered, oh yeah, we could show the movie that he did for TV back before The Twilight Zone, which if you guys haven't seen it, you're in for a treat. I mean, this is one of my all-time favorite movies. So we got some good stuff today. The Hitchhiker's only about 20, let's see, let me pull it up here. 29 minutes. Yeah, Hitchhiker's only about 30 minutes, and then we got a movie. So we're going to start out with the radio, and then we're going to go into the movie. And guys, I'm telling you guys, if you've never seen this Rod Serling movie, you're going to love it. It's not horror. It's a drama. It's so freaking well written, dude. It's so well written. It's so well acted. It's got, what's his name, from Citizen Kane in it, I was just talking to Henley about this guy. I love this actor. It'll come to me. What the hell is that guy's name? I'll point it out when he pops up. But it's got some amazing actors in it, and it's one of those things where you're watching it and you're like, Rod Serling did this, like really? But the writing is just so damn good, dude, so damn good. I thought about pulling up the Orson Welles alcohol commercials where he's just like shit faced drunk, and there's all these outtakes, but you know what? We're not even going to it because I started rewatching them. And it's just kind of sad, man. Orson Welles is one of those guys that he got successful, really, really young. He made Citizen Kane when he was 25 years old, first time director, and it just he just blew up from that. It's widely considered one of the greatest films ever made. And it's one of the few films that are called that actually deserve that title. I mean, it's such an innovative director. So that movie did so many things, either for the first time or used techniques in that way for the first time, where it was just one of those movies that just pushed the film industry ahead like 10 years. So I'm excited to see BLA's breakdown of it, and hopefully you guys can appreciate a little bit of his earlier work with me here, because frankly, I just think that it's a lot of these radio shows are underappreciated and are not seen by many people, and we should rectify that situation. So we're going to do that tonight. Theta Zord says I'm a huge OG the Transformers fan. His last movie was the Transformers. That's right. That's right. I used to think it was the Muppet movie, but no, it was the Transformers. Cut hole below swelling to stick sig into. Yes, that's the. That was the plan, but then the beard got in the way, and I just don't want to. I don't want to burn my beard. You know what I mean? All right. So what's everybody saying? Of course they are. Did you trade your broken leg? That's funny. That's very funny. Let's get into it, y'all. I'm gonna pull up The Hitchhiker. Now this one's really cool, dude. This is a creepy ass story. Now chances are, if you guys like the Twilight Zone, you've probably heard this before, or you've heard the story before. It's one of those common stories. It was played with a little bit in Creep Show 2. You know, that last segment from Creep Show 2 was kind of like that. Now, I do want to let you guys in on a little secret, because I love this show, Suspense. This is what the series of this episode was called, Suspense. And the one time I was hanging at my buddy's house, and we had the like a LCD TV in his house, and I was watching a bunch of these episodes here. And this, as you can see on the screen, the Suspense logo, I watched like probably 4 hours of these, and when I went to shut the TV off, this was burned into the fucking TV. All those rings. I don't know what it is about the what, it's probably just like the bright gray tone and then the black right next to it. But it's very capable of burning images into your LCD screen. So if you watch Suspense on your buddy's TV, just make sure that you don't watch it on this one. Find a different find a different YouTube video to watch it on, because that for some reason will straight up ruin your TV. Now luckily it didn't ruin the TV forever, but like you could see the impression left in there for quite a while afterwards. So yeah, so we're gonna watch it probably, I think, on this one here. But yeah, so this is where is it? One moment. This is 1941's The Hitchhiker, read by Orson Welles for the show Suspense. And yeah, Suspense is a great series, full of amazing episodes. They're not all horror. Some of them are horror. Some of them are drama. Some of them are suspense stories. But what a wonderful series there. So definitely got to go and check out a bunch of those episodes if you can. Yo, good stuff. Movie night. That's right. We're going to be watching a movie right after this. So we're watching The Hitchhiker first. This is a radio show. And then afterwards, we're going to be watching the movie. I am a fan of noir. So, yeah, so stick around if you want to see the movie. I hope you will, because it is a freaking awesome movie. But first off, we're going to start it off with a little bit of a horror story here. So I'm going to flip the lights off. Pull up the coffee. Pull up the popcorn. Flip the lights off. If it's the middle of the day where you're at, then close the blinds. And let's get into it, y'all. Oh, wait a minute. Before we get started, we got to shout out the homies. We got to shout out the people over on Patreon. The Ewok Army, who keep the show running. Thank you guys so much. So here's to you, Jason, James, KF, Anna, Bag of Dirt, John MC, Lisa, Jeremiah, Romans 125, Acorn 14, and to our newest Ewok Army member, Brandon Duffin. Thank you so much, Brandon. And thank you so much to all you guys. You guys rock. Thank you so much. All right, let's get started, yo.
the Columbia Network takes pleasure in bringing you Suspense. Suspense, Columbia's parade of outstanding thrillers, produced and directed by William Spear and scored by Bernard Herrmann. The notable melodramas from stage and screen, fiction and radio, presented each week to bring you to the edge of your chair, to keep you in suspense.
Good evening. This is Orson Welles. I'm very happy I am to be back in the United States and back on the Columbia Network, even for so short a visit as this one. Back with old friends like Johnny Dietz, who's tonight's director, and Bernard Herrmann. The Mercury Theater presented tonight's radio play for the first time last year. We came right out then and hailed it as a classic of the medium. Nobody argued the point. A lot of people asked us to do it again, so it's gratifying to get the chance now and to find a favorite of ours in this distinguished anthology of spook shows.
That's right, Bernard Herrmann, known for Taxi Driver and The Man Who Knew Too Much and many other great films.
I've never met anybody who didn't like a good ghost story. But I know a lot of people who think there are a lot of people who don't like a good ghost story. For the benefit of these, at least, I go on record at the outset of this evening's entertainment with the sober assurance that although blood may be curdled on this program, none will be spilt. There's no shooting, knifing, throttling, axing, or poisoning here. No clanking chains, no cobwebs, no bony and or hairy hands appearing from secret panels, or better yet, bedroom curtains. If it's any part of that dear old phosphorescent foolishness that people who don't like ghost stories don't like, then again, I promise you, we haven't got it. Not tonight. What we do have is a thriller. It's half as good as we think it is. You can call it a shocker. It's already been called a real Orson Welles story. Now, frankly, I don't know what this means. I've been on the air directing and acting in my own shows for quite a while now, and I don't suppose I've done more than half a dozen thrillers in all that time. Honestly, I don't think even that many, but it seems I do have a reputation for the uncanny. Quite possibly, a little escapade of mine involving a couple of planets, which shall be nameless, is responsible. Doesn't really matter. Don't think I disapprove of thrillers. I don't. A story doesn't have to appeal to the heart. It can also appeal to the spine. Sometimes you want your heart to be warmed, and sometimes you want your spine to tingle. The tingling, it's to be hoped, will be quite audible as you listen tonight to The Hitchhiker. That's the name of our story, The Hitchhiker.
All right. I wanted to comment on what Sally Jane said, but I just could not interrupt that amazing intro, dude. Such a talented orator, that Orson Welles, man. Really, I just, everything that guy touched turned to masterpieces for quite a while. Silly Jane says, I should watch more of this unwoke kind of stuff. It would be great for my mental health. Well, that's honestly why I love it so much. I mean, we watch so much media nowadays, and so much of it is just drivel and garbage. And I love just going back to these old movies, and you get to really see some really good writing and some really masterful storytelling that isn't full of the, degenerate garbage and social programming and stuff. And so it really, for me, it's a huge nostalgia bomb, and it's a huge comfort thing. And so yeah, man. So be sure to share the stream out, and let's share these nostalgia streams, y'all.
I'm in an auto camp on Route 66, just west of Gallup, New Mexico. If I tell it, perhaps it'll help me. Keep me from going crazy. I gotta tell this quickly. I'm not crazy now. I feel perfectly well, except that I'm running a slight temperature. My name is Ronald Adams. I'm 36 years of age, unmarried, tall, dark, with a black mustache. I drive a 1940 Buick, license number 6Y175189. I was born in Brooklyn. All this I know. I know that I'm at this moment perfectly sane. That it's not me who's gone mad. It's something else. Something utterly beyond my control. I've got to speak quickly. At any minute, the link may break. This may be the last thing I ever tell on Earth. The last night I ever see the stars. 6 days ago, I left Brooklyn to drive to California.
Goodbye, son. Good luck to you, my boy.
Goodbye, Mother. Here, give me a kiss, and I'll go.
I'll come out with you to the car.
Oh, no, it's raining. Stay here at the door. Hey, what's this? Tears? I thought you'd promised me you wouldn't cry.
Oh, I know, dear. I'm sorry. But I do hate to see you go.
I'll be back. It'll only be on the coast 3 months.
Oh, it isn't that. It's just the trip. Ronald, I wish you weren't driving.
Oh, Mother, there you go again. People do it every day.
I know, but you'll be careful, won't you? Promise me you'll be extra careful. Don't fall asleep or drive fast or pick up any strangers on the road.
Oh, gosh. I think I was still 17 here, you told.
Oh. And why? I mean, as soon as you get to Hollywood, won't you, son?
Of course I will. Don't you worry. There's nothing going to happen. It's just 8 days of perfectly simple driving on smooth, decent, civilized roads with a hot dog or a hamburger stand every 10 miles. I was in fine spirits. The drive ahead of me, even the loneliness, seemed like a lark. I reckoned without him. Crossing Brooklyn Bridge that morning in the rain, I saw a man leaning against the cables. He seemed to be waiting for a lift. There were spots of fresh rain on his shoulders. He was carrying a cheap overnight bag in one hand. He was thin, nondescript, with a cap pulled down over his eyes. I would have forgotten him completely, except that just an hour later, while crossing the Pulaski Skyway over the Jersey Flats, I saw him again. At least, he looked like the same person. He was standing now with one thumb pointing west. I couldn't figure out how he got there, but I thought probably one of those fast trucks had picked him up, beaten me to the Skyway, and let him off. I didn't stop for him. Then late that night, I
Come
saw him
on.
again. It's on the new Pennsylvania Turnpike between Harrisburg and Pittsburgh. It's 265 miles long with a very high speed limit. I was just slowing down for one of the tunnels when I saw him standing under an arc light by the side of the road. I'd seen quite distinctly the bag, the cap, even the spots of fresh rain spattered over his shoulders. He hallooed at me this time. Hello! Hello! I stepped on the gas like a shot. That's lonely country through the Alleghenies, and I had no intention of stopping. Besides, the coincidences, or whatever it was, gave me the willies. Stopped at the next gas station.
Yes, sir.
Fill her up.
Certainly, sir. Check your oil, sir?
No, thanks.
Nice night, isn't it?
Yes. It hasn't been raining here recently, has it?
Not a drop of rain all week.
Oh? Oh, I suppose that doesn't done your business any harm.
Oh, people drive through here all kinds of weather. Mostly business, you know. There aren't many pleasure cars out on the turnpike this season of the year.
I suppose not. What about hitchhikers?
Hitchhikers here?
What's the matter? Don't you ever see any?
Not much. If we did, it'd be a sight for sore eyes.
Why?
Oh, guy'd be a fool who started out to hitch rides on this road. Look at it.
Then, you've never seen anybody?
No. Maybe they get the lift before the turnpike starts. I mean, you know, just before the toll house. But then it'd be a mighty long ride. Most cars wouldn't want to pick up a guy for that long a ride. And you know, this is pretty lonesome country here. Mountains and woods. You ain't seen anybody like that, have you?
Oh, no. Oh, no, not at all. I was just a technical question.
I see. Well, that'll be just $1.49 with the tax.
The thing gradually passed through my mind as sheer coincidence. I had a good night's sleep in Pittsburgh. I didn't think about the man all next day until...
What up, slow boy?
From just outside of Zanesville, Ohio, I saw him again. It was a bright, sunshiny afternoon. The peaceful Ohio fields, brown with the autumn stubble, lay dreaming in the golden light. I was driving slowly, drinking it in, when the road suddenly ended in a detour. In front of the barrier, he was standing.
We just started, slow boy. We just started like
Now,
2 seconds
Let me explain
ago.
about his appearance before I go on. I repeat, there was nothing sinister about him. He was as drab as a mud fence, nor was his attitude menacing. He merely stood there, waiting, almost drooping a little, the cheap overnight bag in his hand. He looked as though he'd been waiting there for hours.
Yeah, well, Pascha is Cinco de Mayo this year, so can't wait for that. Hope y'all are having a great Lenten fast season.
And he looked up. He hailed me. He started to walk forward.
Hello? Hello?
You're joking, right, Mr. Westford? I don't need to do a recap this early into the story, right? Let me know if you're serious and I'll recap, but come on, man.
Hello? Hello?
No, not just now. Sorry.
Going to California?
No, not today. The other way, going to New York. Sorry. After I got the car back on the road again, I felt like a fool. Yet the thought of picking him up, of having him sit beside me, was somehow unbearable. At the same time, I felt, more than ever, unspeakably alone. Hour after hour went by. The fields, the towns ticked off one by one. The light changed. I knew now that I was going to see him again. And though I dreaded the sight, I caught myself searching the side of the road, waiting for him to appear.
Yeah, what is it? What do you want?
Sell sandwiches and pop here, don't you?
Yeah, we do in the daytime. But we're closed up now for the
I
night.
know, but I was wondering if you could possibly have a cup of coffee, black coffee, just...
No, not this time of night, mister. My wife's the cook. She's in bed.
No, don't shut the door, please. Listen, just a minute ago... just a minute ago, there was a man standing here right beside the stand, a suspicious-looking man. I don't mean to disturb it. You see, I was driving along when I just happened to look, and there he was.
How's he doing?
Well, nothing.
You've been taking a nip. That's what you've been doing. Now, on your way before I call out Sheriff Oates.
I got into the car again and drove on slowly. I was beginning to hate the car. If I could have found a place to stop, to rest a little. I was in the Ozark Mountains of Missouri now. A few resort places there were closed, only an occasional log cabin, seemingly deserted. That's all that broke the monotony of the wild, wooded landscape. I had seen him at that roadside stand. I knew I'd see him again. Maybe at the next turn of the road. I knew that when I saw him next, I would run him down. But I didn't see him again. I didn't see him until late next afternoon. I stopped the car at a sleepy little junction just across the border into Oklahoma to let a train pass by. When he appeared across the tracks, leaning against a telephone pole. Perfectly airless, dry day. The red clay of Oklahoma was baking under the southwestern sun. Yet there were spots of fresh rain on his shoulders. I couldn't stand that. Without thinking, blindly, I started the car across the tracks. He didn't even look up at me. He was staring at the ground. I stepped on the gas hard, veering the wheel sharply toward him. I could hear the train in the distance now, but I didn't care then. Something went wrong with the car. The train was coming closer. I could hear its bell ringing and the cry of its whistle. Still, he stood there. And now I knew that he was beckoning me to my death. No. I frustrated him that time. The starter worked at last. I managed to back up. When the train passed, he was gone. I was all alone in the hot, dry afternoon. After that, I knew I had to do something.
No, I didn't. But you know, it being called the Hitchhiker, it didn't dissuade me from picking it. I could say that much. I do love the sound of trains, but I'm in Buffalo, so I hear the trains all the time, man. I love the sound of trains. While we're paused here, I might as well give a shout out to the super chats that came in. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. I really appreciate you. Shouts out to our homie Jason Scholl for that $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Jason. Thank you so much, seriously. And shouts out to $20 from Theta Zord up in the house. Thank you so much. He sends in $20. He said, "This is for whatever you need, man. I tithed and had some left to send your way. God bless." Well, I'm very grateful that you did give to your church. That is good, man. Keep that up. What's going on, Bill Hicks? Good to see you. And yes, thank you guys so much for supporting the show. I really appreciate you guys.
I didn't know who this man was or what he wanted of me. I only knew that from now on, I mustn't let myself alone on the road for 1 minute. Hello there. Like a ride?
Well, what do you think? How far are you going?
Where do you want to go?
Amarillo, Texas.
I'll drive you there.
Gee.
Was I ever able to fall asleep on a train? I've never been able to myself. Well, the way I hopped trains was I was hopping freight trains, so they weren't passenger trains. Freight trains are super loud, super dirty, very shaky. Hang on one second. I see we're getting a Wi-Fi signal, so let me wait. I don't want it to glitch out. We're over here in the rainy Buffalo weather right now, so I want to make sure that our Wi-Fi comes back. How's it coming in, y'all? Is it buffering? Is it skipping around? Buffering, skipping? Anybody? Let me check on my end here. Okay, it seems to be doing good. Yeah, so the very first time I hopped a train, I didn't think I'd be able to sleep because, again, so loud. And even in the summertime, you know, if you're on an intermodal train that's going like 90 miles an hour, like the wind blasting over you is super, super strong. But after you get used to it, it actually does put you to sleep because that sort of rumbling motion is almost like it rocks you to sleep. And the way that our bodies work, like, if a noise is constant enough, eventually it just becomes like white noise. So yeah, you fall asleep pretty easily on trains, I'd say. In fact, since they take so long to get you where you're going, pretty much, you know, sleeping is like most of what you do, you know?
You mind if I take off my shoes? My dogs are killing me.
Go right ahead.
Oh, gee, what a break
You
this is.
hitchhike much?
Sure, only it's tough sometimes in these great open spaces to get the break.
Yeah, I should think it would be, though I'll bet you get a good pickup in a fast car. If you did, you could get places faster than, say, another person in another car, couldn't you?
I don't get you.
Well, take me, for instance. Suppose I'm driving across the country, say, at a nice, steady clip, about 45 miles an hour. Couldn't a girl like you just standing beside the road waiting for Lisp beat me to town, or any town, provided she got picked up every time in a car doing from 65 to 70 miles an hour?
I don't know. What difference does it make?
Oh, no difference. It's just a crazy idea I had sitting here in the car.
Imagine spending your time in a swell car thinking of things like that.
What would you do instead?
What would I do? If I was a good-looking fellow like yourself, why, I just enjoy myself every minute of the time. I'd sit back and relax.
I bet you would.
A good-looking girl along the side of the road. Hey, look out!
Did you see him?
See who?
A man standing beside the barbed wire fence.
I didn't see anybody. There wasn't nothing but a bunch of cows and a wire fence.
No?
What do you think you was doing? Trying to run into the barbed wire
There's a man
fence?
there, I tell you. A thin gray man with an overnight bag in his hand. And I was trying to run him down.
Oh, that seems
Run him
reasonable.
down? You mean kill him?
Say you didn't see him back there? You sure?
I didn't see a soul. As far as
Watch
that's concerned...
for him the next time and keep watching. Keep your eyes peeled on the road. He'll turn up again. Maybe any minute now. There! Look there!
How does this door work? I'm getting out of
See
here.
him that time?
No, I didn't see him that time. And personally, mister, I don't expect never to see him. All I want to do is go on living. I don't see how I will very long, driving with you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me, but please don't go.
So if you'll excuse me...
You can't go. Listen, how would you like to go to California? I'll drive you to California.
Seeing pink elephants all the way? No, thanks. Thanks just the
Listen,
same.
please, just 1 minute, please.
You know what I think you need, big boy? Not a girlfriend. Just a good dose of sweet...
Please.
There. I got it now.
No, you can't go. Please,
Leave
come
your
back.
hands off me. Do you hear? Leave your hands off me.
You know what I think you need?
ran.
A hot dog and a big dose of Thorazine.
As though I were a monster. A few minutes later, I saw a passing truck pick her up. I knew then that I was utterly alone.
Thank you, Bill. I am feeling much, much better. It's still not 100% gone, but I am feeling a lot better. Thank you so much.
It was in the heart of the great Texas prairies. There wasn't a car on the road after the truck went by. I tried to figure out what to do, how to get hold of myself. If I could find a place to rest, or even if I could sleep right here in the car for a few hours along the side of the road. I was getting my winter overcoat out of the back seat to use as a blanket when I saw him coming toward me, emerging from the herd of moving steer.
Hello?
Maybe I should have spoken to him then. Fought it out then and there. For now, he began to be everywhere. Wherever I stopped, even for a moment, for gas, for oil, for a drink of pop, a cup of coffee, sandwich, he was there. I saw him standing outside the auto camp in Amarillo that night when I dared to slow down. He was sitting near the drinking fountain of a little camping spot just inside the border of New Mexico. He was waiting for me outside the Navajo reservation where I stopped to check my tires. I saw him in Albuquerque when I bought 20 gallons of gas.
For 50
I
cents.
was afraid to stop now. I began to drive faster and faster. I was in lunar landscape now. The great arid mesa country of New Mexico. I drove through it with the indifference of a fly crawling over the face of the moon. Now he didn't even wait for me to stop. Unless I drove at 85 miles an hour over those endless roads, he waited for me at every other mile. I'd see his figure, shadowless, flitting before me, still in its same attitude, over the cold, lifeless ground, flitting over dried-up rivers, over broken stones cast up by old glacial upheavals, flitting in that pure and cloudless air. I was beside myself when I finally reached Gallup, New Mexico this morning. There's an auto camp here. Cold, almost deserted this time of year. I went inside and asked if there was a telephone. I had the feeling that if only I could speak to someone familiar, someone I loved, I could pull myself together.
Your call, please.
Long distance.
Long distance, certainly. This is long distance.
I'd like to put in a call to my home in Brooklyn, New York. I'm Ronald Adams. The number is Beechwood 200828.
Certainly, I will try to get it for you. Albuquerque. New York for Gallup. New York. Gallup, New Mexico, calling Beechwood 20828.
I'd read somewhere that love could banish demons.
Yeah, well, you read wrong, buddy.
It's the middle of the morning. I knew Mother'd be home. I pictured her tall and white-haired in her crisp house dress, going about her tasks. Be enough, I thought, just to hear the even calmness of her voice.
Will you please deposit $3.85 for the first 3 minutes? When you have deposited $1.50, will you wait until I have collected the money?
Me too, Slows, me too.
All right, deposit another $1.50.
But then I think about all like the lead in the canned food and stuff. But I suppose we wouldn't have to eat canned food, you know? But all the stuff they didn't realize they were doing back then. But I suppose the same could be said about us today. I'm sure, you know. In fact, we know all the chemicals that are in our food today, so I'm just going to shut up.
Will you please deposit the remaining 85 cents? Ready with Brooklyn. Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Mrs. Adams' residence.
Hello, Mother?
This is Mrs. Adams' residence. Who is it you wish to speak to, please?
What? Who's this?
This is Mrs. Winnie.
Mrs. Winnie? I don't know any Mrs. Winnie. Is this Beechwood 20828?
Mrs. Winnie Pooh?
Where's my mother? Where's Mrs. Adams?
Winnie the
Adams
Pooh?
is not at home. She's still in the hospital.
The hospital?
Yes. Who is this calling, please? Is it a member of the family?
Well, what's she in the hospital for?
She's been prostrated for 5 days. Nervous breakdown. But
Well, this is
Nervous
Lent.
breakdown? Well, my...
That's usual story. Prostrated, 5 days, nervous breakdown. Seems like she's having a Lent just like all of us. Dude, I don't know if y'all can hear it in the background, but we got such a heavy rain coming down, and the wind is blowing. It's like the perfect ambiance for this, for listening to this radio stuff, but I apologize for the background noise.
My mother never was nervous.
it's all taken place since the death of her oldest son, Ronald.
Death of her oldest son, Ronald? Hey, what's this? What number is this?
This is Beechwood 20828. It's all been very sudden. He was killed just 6 days ago in an automobile accident on the Brooklyn Bridge.
Your 3 minutes are up, sir. Your 3 minutes are up, sir. Your 3 minutes are up, sir.
And so I'm sitting here in this deserted auto camp in Gallup, New Mexico. I'm trying to think. Trying to get hold of myself. Otherwise, I'm going to go crazy. Outside, it's night. The vast, soulless night of New Mexico. 1,000,000 stars are in the sky. Ahead of me stretch 1,000 miles of empty mesa.
Dude, the one place I lived, they had one of those 5G cell towers, but it looked like a tree. Like it was amongst a bunch of other trees, but it was the fakest looking tree in the world. And if you looked at it, you could see it was obviously a cell tower, and it had like fake metal branches with like some like garbage looking pine needles on it. It was the weirdest thing. It's like, why are they making it look like a tree? And then I realized it's probably because those people were burning them down and like destroying the towers, so they probably wanted to hide it.
Mountains, prairies, desert. Somewhere among them, he's waiting for me. Somewhere I shall know who he is and who I am.
So ends The Hitchhiker, and to Orson Welles our considerable thanks for his playing of the title role. Mr. Welles?
Help wanted. Men, women, and children. Nature of work, hard, monotonous, back-breaking labor. Hours, 75 a week minimum. Pay, few cents an hour. Added inducement, 2 meals a day, including several ounces of bad bread and a cup of thin soup. Don't delay. Apply at once. How'd you respond to a want ad like that, Mr. and Mrs. American working man and woman? You'd laugh, wouldn't you, and throw the paper in the trash basket. Dismiss the whole advertisement as some kind of a joke. But believe me, it's no joke. It's a simple statement of the working conditions that exist today in Nazi Germany and the conquered countries under Nazi rule. It's also an exact statement of the working conditions that will be imposed on you and every member of your family if the Nazis win this war. You yourself personally can stop them from winning, as you know. You don't have to give up your well-paid job to do it. You needn't have to be a soldier or a sailor or an airman or a nurse or a war worker to ensure American victory. Uncle Sam doesn't ask plain, ordinary, hard-working citizens like you to give him anything. All he asks, all this he does ask very seriously and very urgently, is that you loan him 10 cents out of every dollar you make. That's all there is to it. Lend Uncle Sam a dime to win this war, and he'll pay you back with interest when he's won it. The easiest, most convenient way to lend him these dimes is to enroll in the payroll savings plan. Just tell your boss to deduct 10 cents from every dollar he pays you and lend it to Uncle Sam in your name. Sign up for this simple savings plan today, and when victory comes, you will have war bonds in your pockets instead of Axis bonds on your wrists.
Suspense will be heard again 2 weeks from tonight. Next Wednesday night, September 9th, the Columbia Broadcasting System will present over many of these stations at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Wartime an address by W. Averill Harriman, the United States Lend-Lease Administrator in London. Mr. Harriman, as the personal representative of the President of the United States, attended the Moscow conferences between Winston Churchill and Joseph Stalin. Next Wednesday's broadcast will be Mr. Harriman's first public address since his return to this country. Suspense is produced and directed by William Spear. John Dietz was our guest director this evening. Tonight's radio drama was written by Lucille Fletcher. The original score was by Bernard Herrmann.
Don't you just love
This is the
that?
Columbia Broadcasting System.
So good, man. So freaking good, dude. Oh my goodness. Oops, hang on, let me pause this. Oh my goodness, how bad is that rain sound coming through, dude? It's coming down hard over here, man. It's coming down majorly. I love leaving those ads in because that's such a blast from the past. That's some of my favorite stuff. Here's a little excerpt from Lucille, what's her name? Hang on, let me pull it up here. Lucille Fletcher, the woman who wrote that story. I first got the idea for The Hitchhiker in 1940 when I crossed the country from Brooklyn to California with my first husband, Bernard Herrmann. And we saw an odd-looking man, first on the Brooklyn Bridge, and then on the Pulaski Skyway. We never saw him again. However, I didn't quite know what to do with the idea until a year later when shortly after my first daughter was born, I conceived the idea of doing it as a ghost story. After that, I wrote it in a couple of days during the afternoon when my newborn baby was taking a nap. So I didn't realize that she was married to Bernard Herrmann, the guy that did the score for that, and who also did the score for Taxi Driver, like I said earlier, and a bunch of great works. But I do love that, man. I love all the old ads, love all these old shows. It's so great. Now, what we're coming up to now is a little bit of unknown territory. I've seen that this has been shared out on some other YouTube shows, so we should be good. But in any case, if we get pulled, all right, I'll pull up another stream. We'll do another one. I got some backup stuff, so we'll still keep the nostalgia train going. But I'm gonna really try. I really want to try and play this one for you guys because it's so dang good. But otherwise, I got some other shorter shows I can show you. Not radio, but you know, viewing shows. So let's pull up Patterns by Rod Serling. 1956. This is before the Twilight Zone. This is after Alfred Hitchcock Presents has been on the air for a year now, a year or two. And really just one of the greatest writing pieces I think Rod Serling ever did in his career, and it's one of his first. This was his 72nd script that he wrote. He was hired by, oh man, what was this company called? Let's see if they got it in the description here. No, they don't have it. Let me pull it up real quick before we start up. There was a TV show that he was working for at the time. Let's see. Patterns, Rod Serling. It was like some, you know, KBS Mystery Theater or something like that. I'm just going to the Wikipedia page to try to find out the exact thing here. Kraft Television Theater, K-R-A-F-T, like Kraft mac and cheese. He wrote 72 scripts, and this was a script that he wrote, and he didn't even think anything of it, and they chose it. You know, they made a made-for-TV movie, basically, and it ended up blowing up huge, and it's what directly led to him being able to do The Twilight Zone. And when we watch it, I'm sure you guys will see why. It is such an amazing work of art, dude. Like, it blew me away. I can't believe it took me this long to see it. Once I watched it, I absolutely loved it, man. So let me go through the chat before we get started. Just say hey to everybody. I think we may have got another super chat, so let me just double check too. I don't want to miss anybody. Okay, no, that was the old one. All right, make sure we're up to date here. Looks like we're up to date. All right, let's see what the chat's saying. I'm just perturbed that my parents were married for over 20 years before having me. How dare they, dude? I grew up listening and watching stuff like this, even though it was the 80s. Well, I mean, hey, some of the good shows we watch all the time on this channel are from the 80s. CBS Radio Mystery Theater. Most of those are from the 70s, but some of them are from the 80s. And the 80s still had great stuff going on. Let's see. Nostalgia, for me, comes from the hints of this era I grew up with, like characters in the movies I watched, watching stuff like this. Yes. Never heard of this one. Well, you're in for a treat, man. I'm so excited for this one. You know it's the end when everyone has nostalgia for a time they never lived to see. Yeah, that's true. But also because we have this media, it makes it easier because we can see ourselves in them and we can see the similarities. You know, just that human element. And we can see humans in a totally different environment and atmosphere. And it's so nice. I mean, there has to be an understanding that, like, yes, this is fiction. It's not, you know, an accurate portrayal. You hear a lot of people critique, like, oh, the Andy Griffith show. Like, that was never real. There was never a time like that. But what that was that's like an average. These were average American characters. And so, yeah, there wasn't some perfect, you know, perfect place, you know, that was exactly like that. But they were elements of reality that were, you know, cherry-picked and put together. And certainly you could see a glimpse into people's thought processes back then, their values, the things they hold dear. So I think it's understandable why, especially nowadays, we have nostalgia looking back at these things because of just how far gone our society has gotten. You have to play an old thunder sound to enhance the experience. Yeah, I mean, this is crazy, man. The rain, the wind, it's nuts. Just let me know if it gets too bad. Everybody's making train puns in the chat. Alfred Hitchcock is the best. Absolutely. I wish we could play Hitchcock's shows on here, but we can't. What I can play is the 80s Twilight Zone. They have every single episode on YouTube. So I could play those. So if Rod Serling's stuff, craps out on us and we can't play it for some reason, I'm going to pull up another stream and we're going to do some of my favorite 80s Twilight Zone episodes because I friggin' love those, dude. Anyone ever watch the show Get Smart? Yes, I love Get Smart. He was a great voice actor, absolutely. Was Hitchcock British? Hitchcock was British. He was also, he was hired by, it was either MI6 or it was the French themselves, but he was contracted to make propaganda films for the French resistance during World War II. He made one that I know of, but I think he made about 3 of these like short film propaganda pieces that they literally sent to the French while they were occupied by the Germans. And it recently was discovered. These were lost films that were discovered in like an attic. At least the one was. And now you can find it on YouTube. It's so cool, dude. It's so cool. Talking about how to be a spy and stuff and like, keep your mouth shut and loose lips sink ship and all that kind of stuff. So cool, man. All right. So let me just adjust my my banner here. We are watching Patterns. Thank you all so much for being here. Please like and share. If you like these Nostalgia Bomb streams, then definitely be sure to share them out to your buddies. By Orson Welles, by Rod Serling for Kraft Mystery Theater, 1956. Okay. All right, let's get to it, y'all. Everett Sloan. Everett Sloan. This is the guy. So Everett Sloan was he was in Citizen Kane. He was in a bunch of Orson Welles films and such an awesome freaking actor, man. This guy is one of my all-time favorite actors from back in the day. Ed Begley. I wonder if Ed Begley Jr. is Ed Begley's son. He's got to be, right? He's got to be. Yep, he is. I just looked it up. That's Ed Begley Jr.'s dad. Holy crap, dude. I didn't know that. See, now you're seeing patterns, Theta Zord.
Morning, Miss Lanier. This early, you'll have to take the local. All right, Phil.
Floor executive, Miss Lanier.
Thank you, Phil.
Good morning, Miss Lanier.
Good morning, Martha.
I couldn't find a cab anywhere.
Such a lovely day, though.
40th floor executive, Ramsey and Company. Miss Stevens. I'm sorry, sir. Our switchboard doesn't open till 9. You should be able to reach him shortly thereafter. And that's correct, sir. Mr. Staples begins with the company today. I'll leave you a message on his desk. And would you put this on Mr. Staples' desk, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Staples will be in Mr. Quinn's old office, executive corridor.
Yes, I know.
I said deliver it, not read it.
Yes, ma'am.
Executive, 40th floor, Miss Stevens.
Morning. Hi.
Oh, good morning, madam. I wonder if Marge is going to go to work next door.
Oh, no.
Well, I'm glad I don't.
Not there.
Maybe.
Well, they really fixed up a new exec's office for him, didn't they?
Very nice.
A new man. Right next door to your boss. And awfully close to Mr. Ramsey.
So happens that the new man, what's his name? Staples?
Mm-hmm.
Will be working with Mr. Briggs. That's why they have adjoining offices.
Marjorie, baby, you're awfully defensive. I guess that's because you're worried about your Mr. Briggs.
Run along, will you?
Can I have some more cream, please?
Next car, please. Next car. Next car, please. Okay. Next car. Harry, Charlie, Joe, express down. No stops for Jan. Next car. Next car. Next car, please. Next car. Next car.
I said next car!
Next car, please. All right.
That's Everett Sloan, the older guy.
Thank you, Lenny. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Martha.
Yeah, see, we got the real John Connor up in the chat, see? Thinks he's some sort of wise guy, see? Got the executive floor office, eh? What's up, man? Good to see you, bro. You're just in time. We just started. Patterns by Rod Serling from 1956. Kraft Television Theater. You're in for a treat, bro. This is like one of my all-time favorite works of fiction by Rod Serling. So freaking good, dude. In my opinion, it's up there with anything he did with the Twilight Zone. It's not a horror. I love it.
Chief Operator, please. Miss Phillips, you can put this morning's 3 long-distance calls through to Mr. Ramsey. Portland, Dallas, St. Louis offices. Good morning, Mr. Ramsey.
Morning, Miss Lanier. Any messages?
You have calls placed for our Portland, Dallas, and St. Louis offices. Nothing else important, sir. Martin Toole and Dye, you said you'd wire him.
Yes, you'll find a copy in my briefcase. You're right, as usual. Nothing important. I have the Portland report in my briefcase. I want it teletyped this morning to Seattle. Have someone there drive over to Portland and get it to Johnson before lunch. Then run off 20 copies, confidential mimeographing, and have them ready in time for the board meeting. I want it on the agenda. Has Mr. Staples arrived yet?
Not yet, sir.
Delay that meeting until 10 this morning to give you time to get the report mimeoed and distributed. I want it read, and carefully. Get word underground to their secretaries that no one is to count on making any early luncheon appointments. And make a note. Staples is to sit one down from Vandeventer on my left.
Yes, sir.
Let me know as soon as Mr. Staples arrives.
Yes, Mr. Ramsey.
Well, Fred, here we are.
Ah, here we are. A little different than Mansfield, isn't it?
Now I know what a mother feels like when a child goes to school for the first time.
Oh, goodbye, Mother.
Looks big, doesn't it?
Oh, give me a chance, honey. Maybe I can cut it down to my size. Well, I'm a little late.
Shall I call you when I...
No. You, go on home after you finish shopping. And find a garage somewhere around Midtown to park the car. I'll phone you on what train I'll be on, huh? Bye-bye.
Goodbye, darling!
Ramsey and Company, the board said...
Yes, sir. Executive or administrative?
Oh, the executive, Mr. Ramsey.
40th floor, sir.
What's that, Mr. Westford?
Great. Oh, you want the tower, sir. The tower elevator, sir? It'll be down in a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you.
My pleasure, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, Ed. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Morning, Jamie.
Good morning, Bill.
Morning.
Morning, Marge. How was the weekend?
Fine. Your letters are on your desk, and the coffee cart will be here in a minute.
I can use some coffee.
Didn't you get any rest at all?
Couldn't even take my kid to the doubleheader.
Oh, what a shame.
That planning report's going to be a real job, Marge. This will be a big week for you, too, with that thing. I believe we'll try a rough first draft.
Long?
No longer than the telephone directory.
Phew.
Marge. Has Mr. Staples come in yet, Marge?
No, sir. Mr. Staples?
Yes.
I'm Margaret Lanier, Mr. Ramsey's secretary.
Oh, how do you do?
Mr. Ramsey would, of course, be here to welcome you himself, but you caught him on a long-distance call. May I take you back to your office?
Well, thank you very much.
And on our way, I might show you some of our other departments. Have you met Miss Stevens?
I introduced myself, Miss Lanier.
Fine. And may I bid you my own personal welcome. We're very glad to see you.
Well, that's very nice of you, thank you.
Now, if you'll just come with me, Mr. Staples.
Miss Stevens.
Marketing and sales are below here. We have our own research department on the 40th floor. Perhaps you'd like to see that later. This is the executive corridor. Mr. Ramsey's office is that one down at the end. Then Mr. Jameson, head of purchasing. Mr. Briggs, you'll be working closely with Mr. Briggs. Mr. Vanderventer, chief engineer. And this is your office. Isn't it nice? I hope you like it. Mr. Ramsey was told by someone in your old office that you were especially fond of this period.
This place is a dump.
Wasn't your office in Mansfield furnished in early American?
My furniture consisted of 2 filing cabinets and a surplus metal desk off of a destroyer escort.
I said early Albanian.
No, it's really very attractive. Very. I appreciate it very much indeed.
Excuse me, Miss Lanier. Anne said you wanted to see me.
Oh, yes, Marge. Mr. Staples, this is Miss Fleming.
How do you do?
How do you do? Marge, will you see that Mr. Staples has everything he needs in the way of office equipment?
It was arranged for this morning at Mr. Briggs' suggestion.
Oh, fine. I must rush now, Mr. Staples. Again, a most cordial welcome.
Thank you very much.
And, Marge, will you step by at my desk when you finish here, please?
Yes, Miss Lanier. I think I better explain the phone system, Mr. Staples. There are 4 lines. 1 is your private line, direct to outside. 2 is for conference calls. 3 is for inter-office. And 4, this button is for your secretary. Oh, I'm sorry. May I?
Oh, yes, thank you. Yes, I think I have that. Let's see. Outside, inter-office, conference. Yes, that's fine. Thank heavens, this isn't early American.
Busy?
No, not at all. Oh, you must be,
Bill Briggs, your next-door neighbor.
Yes, of course. Well, I'm certainly glad to meet you, sir. I think, Mr. Ramsey told me you'd been sick, didn't he?
Oh, did he? Actually, it's Just a pesky stomach that's been acting up on me. You just in from Mansfield?
Yes, they took a house for... sit down, Mr. Briggs.
Settled already?
Yeah, they took the craft so seriously back then. I mean, they had more to prove. You know, a lot of people back then thought actors were pansies. They thought they were gay. You know what I mean? They had to prove themselves, you know. And so you saw a lot of really just well-trained good actors back then. This movie starts off slow, but it gets so intense, dude. You guys are going to see what I mean, why I love this so much as it goes on.
I'm not trying to set myself up as a real New Yorker. Altoona, Pennsylvania, that's where I came from. My first trip home, I was wearing spats. I remember my father not being able to get over it. He says, Bill, he says, you went to New York to see the sights, and instead you become one of them.
Well, we just got here Friday afternoon, so this morning Nancy insisted, my wife, she insisted on driving me to work the first morning. Well, you know the way women are. You know, you come out of a small town plant, you feel a little lost in a place like this. Well, as I was saying, you know, we walked into our house Friday afternoon. We'd never laid eyes on the place before, you know. And there it was, furnished like a magazine. Milk in the icebox, bourbon on the shelf, and... I don't know, you gotta hand it to them the way they do things around here.
Yes, Miss Lanier handles all that, does a fine job.
That feeling that I got driving into town this morning. Well, I got to admit, it's just a little overwhelming.
Yes, and it's a pretty wonderful thing to be as young as you are and see it all spread out in front of you like a Christmas tree.
But that's my secretary. We were talking business.
You think of big business, you always think of it as being very impersonal, you know? But, it's certainly not true with your Mr. Ramsey.
I know what you mean. How much time did you put in Mansfield?
Almost 6 years.
You must have blown a bugle in Ramsey's ear out in Ohio. He brought you here in a hurry.
Well, actually, I wasn't at all sure I wanted to come to New York, but, this Ramsey is a pretty dynamic man.
Yes, I know.
You see, you've been with the firm some time now, haven't you?
Oh, maybe 40 years or so. I seem to recall Mr. Ramsey's talking about you as a production man. You're an engineer, aren't you?
Yes, but,
Is my voice is too loud, you say?
What he
How's
told
that?
me, I guess I'll be a little of everything around here. Mostly in industrial relations.
Industrial relations. Matter of fact, it's been one of my specialties. We ought to get along pretty well together.
I'm sure we will.
Excuse me. Mr. Ramsey's called a meeting in the conference room, Mr. Briggs.
Oh? Well, Fred, it's been a real pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
Mr. Ramsey's expecting Mr. Staples, too.
Oh. Well, then I'll go in with you if you don't mind.
Not at all.
I just hope Mr. Ramsey remembers hiring me.
Mr. Ramsey rarely forgets anything. After you.
Thank you.
Staples?
Yes.
Hello. Fred, this is Harvey Jameson, head of purchasing.
Oh.
I think I can fix that by basically not yelling and by pausing the movie when I talk. Because I think with StreamYards, they don't really let me mix the audio too adequately over here. And also, I am kind of yelling because the wind is going, so I'm trying to compensate because I don't know how loud the wind is. So I'm just going to try to talk a little bit softer.
How are you?
So they finally finished it.
What?
Oh, Fred, your office on Friday, the painters and all, it was a madhouse.
Say, Bill, are you taking along Ramsey's breakdown?
Oh, no, I forgot that. There are a couple of other things I forgot, too. Jamie, would you and Fred go along together? I'll be in a few minutes.
Fine.
I suppose Lanier's giving you the cook's tour.
What? Oh, yes.
Did he show you the conference room?
Oh, yes, on the other side, yes.
Mr. Briggs?
What is it, Marge?
I don't know. Mr. Briggs, I think I ought to resign.
Resign? What are you talking about? What happened? What is it, Marge?
Mr. Briggs, I've just been ordered to go over to Mr. Staples as his new secretary.
Temporarily?
No, I don't think so.
Who gave this order?
Miss Lanier,
When?
about 5 minutes ago. I'm supposed to break in your new secretary.
They've picked a new secretary for me?
Yes, I think so.
It's out of the question for you to resign, Marge, to even think of resigning. You're a fine, wonderful woman and a great secretary. That's the reason they want you over with Staples. He'll need someone like you because he's new here and they want him to get into harness fast. Who can tell, Marge? One of these days, that stomach of mine, pretty perverse organ, and I'm tired. You know, as it must to all men.
Mr. Briggs?
Have you any idea who your successor is?
Yes, they've chosen Sylvia Trammell.
Miss Trammell. It is so ordained. So be it.
She's new, but she's supposed to be very good at dictation.
Well, we'll give her a chance to prove it.
Mr. Briggs, if I could only tell you what this job has meant to me, what working with you has meant to me.
All right, kid. Wash up, get your money, and get out of here. And give Mr. Staples all the best you've got in you. I know you will. That's the only way you operate. I like the guy. I have a feeling he's going to carve out a career around here.
Yes, sir. Everybody seems to think so.
I'm sorry to keep you waiting, gentlemen. Mr. Ramsey will be with us in a moment.
Man, this guy, Mr. Ramsey, is such a piece of work, dude. I can't.
Been away, have you?
See you. Oh, sorry, Fred. I was held up for a few minutes.
See you later, Fred.
Now, where are we going to sit you? Oh, here's an empty chair. I guess you can sit right here.
Mr. Staples, will you sit over there, please? Right next to Mr. Van Deventer. One down for Mr. Ramsey, please.
Welcome back, Bill. Feeling better?
Much, thank you. A little stomach.
Good. I'm glad it's cleared up.
John, don't forget that contract. Can you get it through tomorrow?
I think so. I have it. First, gentlemen, I'd like you to look over the memo sheet on top. Haverford Mutual had some doctors look into the matter of executive diets. Their findings showed incredible deficiencies. They've gotten up some food tables. I've had them memoed. I'd like you to look them over. As you know, it's been my feeling that a healthy executive is an efficient one. I think it not amiss now to introduce the newest member of our team, Mr. Fred Staples. He's from Mansfield, Ohio. As you all know, he was general manager of Queen City Tool and Die until we took it over. His record there was a brilliant one. He's a production engineer by training, an industrial relations man by instinct. I expect good things from him. Oh, you've probably met everyone, but just for the record, reading from left to right, Mr. Jameson, head of purchasing.
Yeah, we met.
Mr. Granigan, controller. Mr. Gordon, head of sales.
How are you?
Mr. Latham, head of service. Mr. Portier, chief of operations.
Yes, nice to know you.
And Mr. Van Deventer, chief engineer.
How are you? Nice to see you.
Pleasure.
Oh, and of course you've met Mr. Briggs.
Oh, yes.
Who is our vice president, assistant general manager, in charge of everything that everybody else forgets to be in charge of. Now, gentlemen, you all have before you a copy of the Williamston plant purchase prospectus. Mr. Jameson, did you attach your supplements?
It's right there, Mr. Ramsey, page 17R, under process equipment.
And Mr. Granigan, the stock purchase plan I outlined, I have your comments here?
You do, Mr. Ramsey.
Good. Feasible, is it?
Very much so, in my opinion.
Good. Well, that about winds it up, unless there are any further points to be made.
I do think, Mr. Ramsey, if we could keep the transaction under wraps for a bit, at least during the preliminaries. You know what'll happen to the stock quotations if it leaks out that we've agreed to purchase.
I've arranged it this way. The stock quotation as of yesterday morning... You seem to be straining at the leash, Mr. Briggs, or am I mistaken?
You mentioned here that probable time of purchase would be sometime in June. Are the plants to be in receivership until then?
That seems to be what it says.
That means 6 months with improper maintenance of equipment.
Oh, I doubt it, Bill. I've had 2 of my best men out there for the last 6 weeks. Oh, we had a varying voltage problem, but that was taken care of. You know, maintenance-wise, I doubt if there'll be $1,000 worth of deterioration.
How about goodwill?
What about it?
The plant employs 900 men. That's half the working force of the village.
So?
So what do we do with these men? Cover them with cosmoline and put them away in a drawer until we get ready to resume production?
I thought your concern was for the plant.
And what good is the plant without the men? You chop a village payroll in half for 6 months and you might not have a plant because you might not have a village.
Mr. Briggs, if we may be permitted to disregard for the moment the considerations that you have brought up, what about the rest of the plan?
I'd say it was adequate.
Adequate. That, gentleman, is the kiss of death, believe me. I've known Mr. Briggs for a long time. When he says something is adequate, what he means is that it is entirely inadequate.
I must admit to feeling a concern over some 900 men suddenly deprived of a livelihood.
Mr. Briggs, if you would do me the goodness to look at what I consider to be a fairly elementary business principle. By putting 900 men out of work temporarily, we may ultimately employ twice that number in the same town. By cutting production costs as a result, we will then be able to compete more favorably in the market. Thus, we'll be able to sell more goods. We're not going to ruin that town, we're going to make it. I should think, Mr. Briggs, that after 30 years, you'd be able to think beyond the tongue-clucking stage and come up with something resembling an analytical point of view.
I was under the impression I'd given you a point of view.
I saw none. I perceived what amounts to a rather emotional little tidbit that was decidedly more charitable than cooperative and by no means thought through. I asked, I believe, for an objective view of a business venture.
Dude's just sitting there like, oh, boy. This is my first day, y'all. Come on, man.
From you I got, and I seem constantly to be getting, a very negative response of any at all. Adequate, I believe you said. Well, Mr. Briggs, this little move will save us conservatively $500,000, which we'll be able to put back into the business. I must say you take a liberal view of adequacy.
I didn't intend to make a central issue out of this, but I did feel it important enough to air in this meeting.
Well, you have aired it in this meeting.
I think it's a good thing you did. But I think, Bill, we're pretty much of one mind about it now.
And we may assume the matter is closed now. Mr. Briggs? How about you, Mr. Staples? Do you have an opinion?
No. No, I think not, Mr. Ramsey.
Why not?
Well, frankly, it's a little out of my grasp at the moment. I don't know anything about the firm, its corporative setup, reasons for bankruptcy, or for that matter, its product. I'm afraid I'll have to pass.
Good answer. I respect thoughtful judgment, Mr. Staples. Congratulations. We'll adjourn now until 2 o'clock. I'm sorry we got started so late.
Mella, what's up? What's up? You're coming in right around the 25-minute mark. We got this guy here with his arms folded. He's new to the company, and this is his first board meeting. Pretty much all you need to know is that the old man here is he's kind of at odds with the boss here, and that's pretty much all you need to know.
Late this morning, but I wanted this analysis mimeoed for your inspection. After lunch, we'll take up the Portland report, which you have before you. Mr. Granigan attended the stockholders' meeting there on Tuesday, and we'll begin our discussion with his report. That's all.
All right, sir. Oh, Bill. All right, come and have some lunch, eh?
No, thank you.
Oh, Bill, wasn't there something you wanted to speak to me about before?
Nothing important.
Fine. Tummy's all right, eh?
Cast iron. Couldn't be better.
Good. Keep it up.
Oh, also, so this guy sitting down right here, he's been with the company 20 years. Now, the boss man, he took his secretary and he gave it to the new guy. And then he also gave the office to the new guy. And now he's like, you know, so he feels like he's getting pushed out. It's pretty obvious that the boss is trying to push him out.
Oh, Staples.
See you later.
You bet. Good to have you with us, Staples.
Thank you.
The arrangement's satisfactory?
Oh, yes, just perfect. I'm sure you'll be hearing from my wife very soon about that. It's a beautiful house.
Beautiful country up there. I'm sure you'll love it. Oh, see you later, Bill? Oh, Fred. Briggs is working on a project now, a comprehensive planning report. The point is that it's very important, most important indeed for our future program, and it's far too big a job for Briggs, or for any one man to handle. Now, what I want you to do is get your finger in it.
Certainly. What
What I mean is more than just your finger. You understand me?
Yes, Mr. Ramsey, you make that quite clear. Oh, could I see you a minute, Miss Fleming?
Yes, sir?
Oh, I wonder if you could check for me, please, as to who's to be my secretary. I need some notes typed up.
I'm to be your secretary, Mr. Staples.
But I thought Mr. Briggs...
It was arranged for, just before the meeting, Mr. Staples.
I take it you'd rather remain with Mr. Briggs.
I was Mr. Briggs' secretary for 7 years, Mr. Staples.
Well, in that case, I see no reason why I shouldn't be able to get someone else.
It was Mr. Ramsey's idea. Do you want to give me those notes now?
No, why don't you have your lunch first, Miss Fleming? We'll take care of these when you come back.
It's a little awkward.
There are some notes here that...
Later, Marge. I'll do it later.
Darling, you didn't say anything about my new hairdo. Do you like it?
Yeah, it's lovely.
Wish you could see the new dresses I bought. They're just beautiful.
Where are they?
Oh, they're still at the store having little things done to them.
Oh, come on in the kitchen. I'll fix your drink.
Not the kitchen, the library.
Oh.
I hope they'd have the dresses ready and have them sent over to your office this afternoon. I spoke to your secretary about it when I called.
It's funny she didn't mention it.
They didn't get the job done in time. She had a nice voice. What'd she like?
Who?
Your secretary.
Oh, what you might expect. You know.
What's her name?
Now, to tell you the truth, I didn't get her name. Only her dimensions.
All right.
No, her name is Fleming. It so happens you don't have a thing in the world to worry about. She doesn't like me worth a bit.
Why?
Well, I guess she prefers working for a former boss.
Well, then why doesn't she?
I don't know, some kind of strategy at the top, I guess.
That sounds funny.
Yeah. Her ex-boss happens to be only one of the vice presidents. My superior, and a very nice guy to boot.
Could that perhaps be a good sign?
Well, you figured out. Left me a little up in the air. You know, Nancy, running a plant in Ohio is beginning to take on all the aspects of a nice, simple, uncomplicated gravy train.
What happened today?
Oh, nothing really. Just an impression, I guess. Sort of queer undercurrents and tensions and... Good luck. Ramsey?
Good morning, Mr. Ramsey.
Stevens?
Fine, thanks, Jerry. Let me see that breakdown again.
Oh, sure.
Miss Fleming, would you step in for a minute, please?
Yes, Mr. Staples.
No, that's not the one.
Oh, sorry.
Let me see this. Yeah. Now, this is the only one that I have cross-indexed for division, so don't let him keep it. I want Billy to take my letter from Henry Jacobson with him.
Oh, yes.
Now, look, Billy. Henry is a nice, sincere guy, you know? Made out of Bessemer steel. He hasn't been off of his duff since he learned how to walk. He started out stoking coke furnaces when he was 14, was mill foreman when he was 20, and then he ended up buying the whole plant for his own 40th birthday present, so... You know what I mean? Watch out.
I sure will.
Now, give him that report, and then remember what he says. Make stenographic notes when you can, and when you can't, put it all down on paper as soon as you get out of the office. No approximations. Make it as... Yes,
Right,
I know you have to
gotta
go.
go.
I want to know what they're thinking. I want to know how they feel about every paragraph of that thing. I just hope they'll open up more to you than they did to me. I'll be down there sometime next week for their decision.
Okay.
Mention that to them, will you?
Yes, I will.
Hello? Hold it, please, just a second. Have a nice trip, Billy. And be sure and call me Sunday night.
Yeah, I will. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hello. Yes, put him on. Don't go away, Miss Fleming, please. Hello? Judd. Look, I'm sorry. I meant to call you right back. It's about that Atlantic States Nitrate meeting set up for October the 3rd. I'd like a delay on that. Well, I want to walk in there sure of my ground, and October's not going to give me any ground at all. Yeah, could you do that? Well, that'd be a help. November 7th? Fine. Look, I'll see you in the dining room. Okay, good. Put that on my calendar, please. Now then, where'd you get those wires off?
Yes, sir.
Good. Right after lunch, I want you to set up a conference call with Ramsey, Jameson, myself, with Frank Daring in Denver.
Got a minute, Fred? Sorry, Marge, this is urgent. It's about that NLRB vote in Portland.
What about it?
Ramsey's grumbling about it. He thinks it's premature.
Premature? What's he talking about? He's had that plant running on wishful thinking for 19 months now. We've got a labor problem out there all primed to explode in our face. Now, look, Bill, you better walk in his office with a great big neon sign, strike, you know? Then tell him I've got a little estimate worked out that it'll cost us conservatively $4,000 a day if that plant goes out.
Oof, you know how that'll hit him.
Yeah, well, you go in there and dig up the ground, and I'll follow you with a bulldozer, and we'll plow him under. Oh, we've got 800 big lumberjacks out there, and if they go, that'll do it big, you know. This won't be any one-week picket. This thing could go on for a year with no strain at all. You walk in there, set the charge, and I'll be in to light the fuse, huh?
Fine.
I'll have to call you back. Is 2:30 convenient for your call to Denver, Mr. Staples?
Do I have anything else on?
I got another problem out here, if you can spare a minute.
Wow, Paul, how are you, partner?
Mr. Staples, that gun.
Oh, you got it. Huh? You like it? You try it out yet?
Try it yet. 30 seconds from the time he read Winchester double barrel on the box, he was sighting it.
Well, how about going out for a little skeet shooting on Sunday? Give it a try, huh?
Wonderful. Can I, Dad?
Oh, man, how's that for the good old days?
He's all yours, Fred. He's a little too strenuous for me.
Mr. Staples doesn't get tired like you do, Dad.
I don't get tired.
He was an All-American. Well, it was just terrific, so I had to stop by and thank you.
You forget it.
Well, so long. I'll see you outside.
Real thoughtful of you, Fred. It's my pleasure, Bill.
Hello, Mr. Ramsey.
How are you, Paul? Still taking your vitamins, are you?
I guess so, sir.
Fine, fine. Keep it up.
Excuse me, Mr. Staples.
Oh! Oh, man, I'm tired.
I've made arrangements for your call to Denver, Mr. Staples. If I could go over one paragraph... in
No,
this
I
letter.
think I'll knock that off after lunch, if you don't mind, Miss Fleming.
All right, Mr. Staples.
No, drink it here. Relax a minute.
Thank you. I will. Would you like some of mine?
Yes, thank you. As a matter of fact, I would. No, that is plenty, thank you.
Where'd you play your football, Mr. Staples?
Oh, Ohio State, but don't ask me the years. I won't tell you.
Then I won't ask you.
Anyway, I feel about 3 times older than when I first came here.
They've kept you busy.
Yes, they sure have.
You've done very well. You fitted in quickly.
Thank you. You know, I think that's the first out-and-out friendly thing you've said to me. I think you
Different movie.
resent me a little, don't you, Miss Fleming?
I don't know why
What's up, Clontarf? Good to see you, homeboy.
you should...
Well, it's just a feeling that I've gotten from time to time.
You work with a man for a long time, a fine man. You become part of him. You identify yourself with him. Then along comes the new man.
I like Bill Briggs. I like him a lot. I have from the first.
If I have done or said anything that could...
Johnny Utah was from Point Break. BLA just did a whole stream about him, about that movie. And then I went back and watched it for the first time, and man, what a great film that was.
No, of course not.
Because I must say you've been very fair. But 7 years isn't a day. I owe a lot to Mr. Briggs. Mr. Briggs is the last of the original bunch around here, the people who really started this business. That's not easy to be the last of the original bunch.
I know.
He's not well. He has a bad heart. And an ulcer. I guess that's just about par for the executive course, isn't it?
Well, I guess I've always been a field man. I haven't been an executive long enough to find that out for myself.
But you're a good one. I think you're a very good executive. You admit mistakes. You don't pass the buck. You're a lot like Mr. Briggs that way.
I take that as a very nice compliment.
I mean it. Mr. Briggs's only trouble is that he could never be a yes man, not even to Mr. Ramsey himself. He always has to speak his mind. And Mr. Ramsey doesn't like his judgment questioned. You either go along or you get off.
Bill Briggs.
Yeah, she really loved Mr. Briggs, the guy she used to work for, that they swapped for him. But it does seem like she's a little overboard on that. It's like, what's going on here?
He's never got off.
No, he never did. But maybe he's about to be pushed.
Oh, that's true too, because she knows like that. She can feel that they're trying to push him out. So I think that's too. She just feels so bad for the guy because he's like she said, he's got a bad heart. He's not well, and she thinks he's gonna get like pushed off a cliff, metaphorically speaking.
He blew up at the next round, and then Howard went right by him with a 65. A 65, I ask you. 7 birdies, and he sank an 82-foot cut on the last green for an eagle. Oh, hello, my dear. That's some golf.
Yes, indeed, it's wonderful.
The coffee will be ready in just a little while.
Fine. My father's recipe for coffee was to mix salt and chocolate with the grounds. Cook them all up together. He'd never drink anything else.
Sounds wonderful.
They They serve it at a small downtown restaurant I eat at occasionally.
That's actually a very good point. Thank you so much. Yeah, guys, I don't know if you ever had that, but if you ever have coffee that's too acidic, if you put a pinch of salt in it, it makes it really good.
I must remember to mention it to Fred. You said he was a confirmed coffee drinker?
Dedicated.
Fine. He's quite a young man, this husband of yours.
Have you had a chance to read much of the report? Of course, it isn't finished yet,
Well,
but...
thank you for letting me see this much. Not according to Miss Post, I suppose, at a dinner party, but it makes me extremely proud of my judgment.
So happy. He's been worried about it. And...
Nancy.
Will you excuse me?
Wonderful party, you two. Makes me think I should get married.
Oh, don't do anything as drastic as that.
Wonderful having you, Ed. Come again soon.
Will you try keeping me away? I'll see you at the office
Yes,
tomorrow, Fred.
bright and early.
Good night.
Ah, Jamie, you don't have to go yet. Stick around a while. It's early.
Of course, I'd love to stay all night, however.
We're going home. Can't get him out of here, Nancy. Usually he leaves office parties as soon as the canapes are passed.
I thought everybody behaved very well.
I thought so.
Gotta give some credit for that.
Not again.
I was beginning to like awful.
Will you come over and see us? Certainly. Come over during the day? You know, nowadays, Jamie never gets home at all. I think we wives ought to form a union.
You're right. We
Good
should.
night, dear.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
I wonder what happened to Bill Briggs tonight.
Oh, darling, I forgot to tell you. He phoned earlier. He said he wanted to come, but he just didn't feel up to
Oh,
it.
Nancy, I wish you'd have called me to the phone. I wanted to talk to him anyway.
Darling,
Maybe
you
if
were
I'd have...
busy.
Well, I know, but I... What about Ramsey? Is he planning to spend the night?
No, he just gravitated towards the library and made himself cozy.
It sounds a little like artificial gravitation to me. You didn't have anything to do with it, of course.
Well, he's really an amazing person. You know, I expected a real tycoon, but he's so simple, almost childlike.
Baby, I just hope by mistake you never wander into a jungle. Good night, Jack. Good night. Good night, dear.
Thank you. Wonderful party.
Thank you.
Some interesting reading matter here, Fred. Very interesting reading. I took the liberty of accepting your wife's kind invitation to look over your report.
Oh, really?
Good, heady stuff. Good, solid thinking. And some of it is better than good. Of course, I can't say that I agree with all your conclusions, but I listen to arguments. It'll be good to hear arguments for a change. Good arguments.
Well, I can't tell you what a relief that is. We really sweat that one out.
Fred, I like a man to show initiative. I like a man who's not afraid to think a new thought, to take a different kind of step on his own. With your permission, I'll borrow this extra copy of your report just overnight. But for now, I can say I'm very impressed.
Well, of course, we haven't finished this thing yet, but Bill and I feel that another week
Bill?
or week...
You mean Briggs?
Yes, sir. Well, we work together on this.
Oh, come now, Staples. I pride myself on my sense for style. I can link what I see with what I know to be peculiar to a certain individual. And I know Bill Briggs' work. I've been exposed to it since I was of voting age. This isn't his style. It isn't his brand of thinking.
Well, I don't know what Nancy could have told you, but Bill and I work together.
Fred, learn to accept success. It's tougher sometimes than learning to accept failure. Don't take half of your accomplishment and hand it out gratuitously to the man on your left who hasn't the stuff to do it on his own. That's charitable, humane, and it makes you feel good. But it's not business.
Mr. Ramsey, I'd like to clear up one point.
There'll be a meeting on Tuesday, Fred. We can discuss the report then.
I assure you I don't want any undue credit.
I never extend undue credit. Ask anybody. Ask your friend Briggs. You think I'm tough on him, don't you? I am tough on him.
Well, I think Bill is... I think he's a good man.
He was. And grandfather clocks were good clocks, and Stanley steamers were good automobiles, but you can't run them in competition today.
I must say that I like some of his ideas very much. Very much indeed.
So do I. Some of them. Not many.
Still, a man with Bill's experience and... I don't know, I think he'd be very hard to replace. I'll see if that coffee's ready.
Are you serious, Fred? Briggs would be hard to replace? Do you honestly think that? Then why do you think I brought you on here from Mansfield on such short notice? Do you think that was a whim? Is that what you think? Fred, you're Briggs' replacement. I thought you understood that. I'm expecting his resignation. I don't like to prolong these things. They're unpleasant and personal no matter what tack you use. And under no circumstances could I or would I undertake to fire him.
Coffee's in the living room. I thought perhaps you'd like to go in there. It's quiet.
Look at the time. I really must go. It's been a wonderful evening.
Sorry you have to leave so soon.
I really must. My coat, I think, is in the bedroom.
Oh, yes, of course. I'll get it for you.
May I make a suggestion?
Mr. Ramsey, I don't want to seem ungrateful.
I'm not looking for gratitude. You can't run a business on thank you notes. That's Briggs' trouble. And God forgive me, that was my father's trouble, too. This incredible conception of a huge industry being run like a soup kitchen, like a welfare comfort station. I know what the old-timers think of me. I've grown up getting stared at by a lot of tongue-clucking old fogies who find me ruthless. Kind of people who represent everything that might have kept our business from growing to anything like its present size. This stupid black and white idea that honesty and fair profit are incompatible. I just happen to feel that the atmosphere of a large corporation cannot be constantly cathedral-like. Thank you, Mrs. Staples. And again, thanks for a wonderful evening. I'll see you in the morning, Fred. You didn't steal that promotion. You won it. Remember that.
Man, such a tough spot to be in. I mean, man, dude, I love that scene. The acting is so freaking good in this movie, especially Everett Sloan. Like, just the whole. Hopefully, you guys are seeing sort of the overall theme here of this movie, or what we're working towards. I love it. I wanted to pause for a second just to sort of talk about movies in general. I've noticed that I've been a huge film buff for the longest time. Have a huge collection of movies and spent a lot of years doing YouTube and mainly focusing on YouTube and not watching many movies. And then when I went back to start watching movies again, I found it very hard to stay focused throughout the entirety of it. Like my attention span had just been decimated by YouTube and watching short clips and things like that, to the point where when I started watching movies again, like it took a concentrated effort to actually sit through the whole thing. And so I feel like it's a good exercise. Believe it or not, I mean, who would have thought that watching movies would be good for your attention span? Not that I'm saying that it is, but where we are now with TikTok and Instagram and all these short form videos and stuff, I think it is actually a pretty good exercise to read books and watch long form content, because man, it can be hard to sit through like the full thing if you're just so used to short stuff. So I'm glad that y'all are sticking with me here, and here's to the real ones hanging out and watching it with us, man. Thank you guys so much.
Good night, Mr. Ramsey. I hope you'll come soon again.
Thank you, Nancy. I hope I'll be able to. Good night.
What was that all about?
I'm Bill Briggs' replacement.
Vice presidency.
You must have really spread it on.
Listen, a little rare roast beef and wifely pride don't get you that kind of a promotion.
Yeah, I'll take something a little more. A little misrepresentation for one thing. A little switch in authorship for another. You told him I'd written that report.
I did not. I told him Bill had helped you.
But Nancy, this is Bill's basic idea.
Oh, the same set of ideas that he's had for years. I gathered that much. You gave it life, you made it work, you made it practical.
Even so, Nancy, I don't want any part of it.
Oh, Fred, I happen to know what you contributed to this. I also know that you can't stand winning if you have even a nodding acquaintance with a loser.
I don't like stepping on another human being to get into a capital gains bracket. Ramsey's stalking that poor guy like an animal. He'll whip him to death if he has to make him resign.
I didn't hear you tell Mr. Ramsey that he was mistaken. I didn't hear any clear-cut defense of Mr. Briggs. If you don't want to be successful, go and tell that to
Nancy,
Mr. Ramsey. He'll give you a
will you
broom,
please?
and you can check in at 7
Look,
o'clock every night, but don't
Now,
tell
look,
me.
I don't want to argue about this.
Neither do I. I just want you to answer me. Did you tell him that your wife was mistaken? Did you tell him that you were taking vows for something you did not do?
No. No, I didn't.
Why not, Fred? Why not?
Because I want the job.
Thank you for a straight and honest answer. Now I think we can both sleep tonight.
I wanted to talk about what. Well, first let's hit Jason's comment. Shout out to Jason Scholl up in the chat. He says, "I agree. Movies and books are especially they especially engage a participatory aspect of our observation versus the shorts and clips, which are just passive media consumerism. I really do think that short form TikTok videos and stuff are just like a blight on the mind, on the attention span nowadays. It's really rough, dude. It's rough, especially with kids. But even, us adults, it can be damaging. Old movies can be a challenge, says Moldy. And basically I responded to Moldy basically saying, like, as someone who loves old movies, there's just a lot of them that are not, they're boring. They're not good. And that gets a lot of people where they'll see the same thing with Westerns. People will find, like, boring, lame, lousy Westerns, and they're like, I don't like Westerns. Same thing with the black and white movies. I don't like black and white movies. It's like, that's like saying you don't like paintings. Like, there's going to be paintings you like. Even if you've seen 100 you don't like. There's so many out there. If there's going to be ones that you like. You just have to look past the fact that it's in black and white. And there's many that are boring, but there's many that are such, like, fine, high works of art, like Citizen Kane, like a lot of the Orson Welles films, like Stanley Kubrick's older films, like John Huston's work, Maltese Falcon. I mean, there's so many just amazing works of art that are not boring, that are so, like, captivating and so fascinating and so... just, I don't know a better way to put it, but just like interesting, and they teach you things about people, and they tell great stories, and that's the kind of person I am. I just love storytelling. I love stories, and so I always try to tell people, like, when they say they don't like old movies, I try to find the really good ones to show them. This film that we're watching today was a made-for-TV movie, and when we get to the end, you guys are gonna see why I love it so much. There's such a great thing. I don't want to spoil it, but this one definitely has that. It's a little tougher for people that don't like old movies. I could see that. This isn't one of the ones I would show somebody necessarily for a first time black and white. But man, the payoff, in my opinion, is so good. So let's get back to it, y'all. Moldy says, I have such a massive backlog of books, too. Yeah, me too, dude. I have a freaking stack of books. my attention span is so shot. That's the thing I really need to work on, is getting back into reading. I used to love reading so much, and now I read just a little bit, you know. I love Westerns. Me too, dude. Me too. Some better than others, of course. But overall, Westerns have great stories, great lessons. I agree. You have to be open to it, too, though. If you watch someone amazing with a higher-than-mighty attitude, it's not going to soak in. Agree. Or watch something amazing. Yeah, I agree. All right, let's get back to it, y'all.
Hi.
Good morning, Paul. Where's Cora?
She's late, I guess.
Aren't you going to be late for school?
It's only 8:10. I've still got 6 minutes.
You've got it figured out to a science, haven't you?
You taking your shotgun to school, Johnny?
I just got it figured to how far I have to go and how long it's going to take me.
Well, if you found that out, you found out a lot. Thanks for breakfast.
You worked late again last night.
Yeah, no rest for the weary.
You haven't got it down to a science yet, have you, Dad?
What?
How far you have to go and how long it'll take you?
What's the matter, Paul?
Here's last night's doubleheader, the one we were going to see.
Oh, I forgot all about it, Paul. I'm sorry.
We didn't miss much. I watched it on television. Crummy doubleheader. The Braves took both of them. You're lucky.
The Yanks are playing tonight, aren't they?
Yeah, they play the Red Sox.
Let's start all over again. You meet me at the office, we'll have dinner, and then we'll go to the game together.
Sounds good.
It's a date.
You're on. So long, Dad.
Don't
Have a
be
good
gay,
day.
Dad.
If you can't make it tonight, would you give me a call at school?
I've raised the world's worst pessimist. At 8 o'clock in the morning, you're figuring out the worst possible thing that could happen at 6 o'clock tonight.
Upstairs in my room, I've got a drawer full of tickets to ball games we've never seen because of that stuff. But, call me if you can't, Dad. It's important.
I'll make it this time, son. Can't you have another glass of milk and maybe tell me about last night's doubleheader?
I'd be late. Wish I could. So long, Dad. Take it easy.
Sure.
Imagine a kid nowadays being so concerned about being late to school. What he was really doing was sneaking out to smoke those reefer cigarettes.
Good evening, Mr. Staples.
Good evening, Sally.
Paul?
Hi, Bill.
Hi, Fred. I thought it was my son. He's going to pick me up. Got time for a cigarette?
Sure. What are you doing here? I thought you were going to the ball game.
I've had a miserable headache since dinner. So I sent Paul on to see the game alone. He's going to pick me up.
How long you been here?
A couple of hours, I guess.
Can I get you an aspirin or something?
Oh, no. It's much better now. Anyway, it gave me a chance to look over the supplements you did for the report. I think Ramsey's right, Fred. You may be an engineer by diploma, but you're a crackerjack industrial planner by instinct or something.
Coming from you, Bill, that sounds real good.
No question about it. Some of your suggestions were great, Fred. Really great. I've incorporated them verbatim. I like your approach, Fred. You think of people in terms of the human factor, not just logistically.
Something I've never been able to make Ramsey understand. Anyway, now he can't complain I turn in the same report every year. He won't be able to say that this year. Join me, Fred?
No, thanks, Bill. I've got to pick Nancy up for supper and that long drive home, you know.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting old. I used to be pretty tough. Still tough, I guess. But every now and then I get tired. Tired of arguments, tired of battling, tired of the whole bloody mess with all this fancy organization and super finagling. Oh, I know it's legal and modern and all that. It's what they call the trend, isn't it? In the old days, things were a lot simpler.
Businesses grow, Bill.
This business didn't grow. Not since old man Ramsey passed on. It's been added to. That's not growth. It's just plain acquisition, a business of stock transfers and bank loans, manipulated by hired shysters and their sharpshooting accountants, and organized and controlled by a barracuda like Walter Ramsey. You sure you won't have a snifter, Fred? I wish you would.
No. Well, times change, Bill. You know that.
But do they always change for the better? Old man Ramsey could walk down a production line and call every man by his first name, and get called by his first name in return.
No, I know that feeling, believe me.
He didn't need public relations experts. Honor was enough. Character. And he never sold a share of stock in his company either. Not till the Depression came along and he had to raise cash or go under. And do you know why? Because he would not lay off one single man. That's the kind of man Jim Ramsey was. Now I sit in that fancy conference room with Jim Ramsey's son. I sit there and I see all the old man's principles, all his beliefs, every single thing holy to him, jobbed off by this spindly little financial wizard, this wall-eyed, ice-coated little rooster who knows more about debentures than he does about the human heart.
Bill.
I'm all right.
Take it easy.
I'm all right.
You're going to work yourself up.
Sit down, Fred. Sit down quietly and be a nice, sympathetic friend and associate. I'm wondering if you're as good a human being as you are an industrial relations man.
He doesn't like you, does he?
No.
Bill, has it ever occurred to you to resign?
Of course it has. 1,000 times.
Why don't you?
What?
Resign. You can't take the chance of letting this man fire you.
On our level, you don't get fired. You know that. After 30 years of productive work, they can't say to a man like me, all right, now get out. They just can't do that. So what do? They create a situation. A situation you can't work in and finally that you can't live in. Where there's tension, abuse, small humiliations. It all starts out on a scale so subtle, so microscopic, that at first you can't really believe it's happening at all. But gradually the thing begins to take shape. The pieces fit together, all the little bits, and it becomes unmistakable. They chip away at your pride, your security, till you begin to have doubts, and then fears. Ramsey. He wants me to resign. He wants me to get my cross so full that I'll be miserable enough to do just that.
But you take it.
Yes, I take it.
Why?
The bigger the job, the more desperately you try to hang
Why?
on. Why?
Why do you take it? Why don't you quit?
Quit?
Yes, quit. Get out of it. Chuck it. You'd have your pension, your peace of mind.
No.
You know Ramsey's gonna go on hounding you until he makes you quit.
Never. You'll never make me quit.
Bill, I wish I could understand why you go on taking it.
Because I'm weak, I guess. Because I'm 62 years old and I don't think I could get another job. How's that strike you?
How do you think?
Once in a while, I have a dream. I dream I'm sitting in that conference room and he starts working me over. I'm just smiling, see? Perfectly calm, and I'm taking it. I don't show the slightest resentment. And then without any change of expression, I get up out of my chair and I walk over to him. And I say, Ramsey.
Bill.
Ramsey! Bill! Ramsey, I say! And then I smash him! Bill! And then I smash him again!
Bill, get a hold of yourself!
And I hit him again!
What's
and
wrong with you?
Fall, and I hold him up! Bill! Get up, Ramsey, I say! I'm not through! Bill!
Wait.
It's the kid. He's coming to pick me up. Fred, I don't want him to see me, not like this.
You're all right, Bill. Just sit down now.
No, he can't see me like this. Fred, help me. Help me.
All right, I'll take care of him. You just lay low for a minute. I'll see he gets home.
Tell him I left early to get some
Bill,
rest.
please be quiet.
Please, Fred, hurry. Be quiet.
Oh, it's me, Paul.
Oh, hi, Mr. Staples. Man, what a place by night. Where do they keep the caskets?
How you doing, partner?
Dad said I should drop in and pick him up.
Oh, well, he went on home. He needed a little rest.
Oh, good. He's under orders not to work late. He can't seem to keep away lately. Always work, always worrying. No wonder he's number 2 man.
Suppose I drop you off.
I completely agree. And this movie right here is honestly one of the things that I respect most out of his entire writing career. I mean, I absolutely love this
Grand
movie.
Central.
Swell, thanks, Mr. Staples. Ever since I can remember, he's been married to this place. Mom used to say the same thing. They were great together, Mr. Staples. Mom and Dad, they used to yell and argue and carry on. He was a fighter. It was great growing up. I remember.
More? There's another bundle on the truck.
If you didn't see the banner, we are watching Patterns, written by Rod Serling, 1956 for Kraft Television Theater.
Mr. Staples, you left your hat in Mr. Briggs' office?
Oh, Fred, I have the Stanley complex made up if you'd like to take a look at it.
Here, please.
Bad night.
Yes, Mr. Staples.
Now, this is the proposals report. Give that to Miss Lanier for confidential memoing. Tell her that Mr. Briggs has the only carbon. Is he in yet?
No, sir. Mr. Staples,
Yes.
it's not signed. How would you like the names? In what order? First yours or first Mr. Briggs?
Oh, I don't care. It makes no difference to me.
But in joint projects, Mr. Staples.
I really don't think it's too important. Put Mr. Briggs' name first, if you like. Just give it to Miss Lanier right away. I'd like this thing printed by afternoon, if possible. That's all, Marge.
Yes, Mr. Staples.
Yes, Marge, dear, what is it?
The proposals report. Would you sign it so it can be printed?
Oh, would you? Just a moment, please. Marge, will you please take it into Mr. Ramsey? He asked to see it first. Hello? Oh, yes, good morning.
Is that the report?
Yes, sir. Miss Lanier said you wanted to see it.
Yes, I do. Who signed this?
I wrote the title page. Mr. Staples suggested I sign it.
Printed.
I'm sure that if Mr. Staples knew...
Print it, Miss Fleming.
I can sign that report now, Marge.
Now, we meet with Ramsey in 20 minutes. Under the conditions and in the time we got left, it's the best plan I can devise, and it's the only one ready, so you fellas have got to go along.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Marge, I can sign that report now.
Hold us up for a while. You've got to alter Section B and review the...
Thank you, Marge.
The major projects during the period of aforementioned being the Huber Petroleum Refinery, the Sterling Cast Airs Refinery, the Chatham Nickel Smelter Company, the Henderson Valley Dam, the Swing Carbon Steam Plant, and the New England Canadian Natural Gas Pipeline.
Good report, Van.
Thank you.
I got a real feeling of activity during your reading. The next item of business is the project's proposal report. Clearly of the greatest single importance on our docket this morning. I must say, and I'm sure you'll all agree, that I am not given to enthusiasms at the drop of a submission. But of this, I feel impelled to say that it is unique in effort, ingenious in thought. To Mr. Fred Staples of our organization goes my heartfelt thanks and congratulations. Besides being our newest member, he seems to be shaping up as among our most astute. This set of proposals is ingenious, comprehensive, and fresh. Congratulations. Your success is a reaffirmation of my own judgment.
Mr. Ramsey.
Of my own good judgment, I may add.
Mr. Ramsey.
I prefer not to be drenched with modesty, Mr. Staples.
This is not modesty, just the extension of credit where it's due. Bill here is as responsible
Briggs,
as...
Is your name about to be used in vain?
I don't think Fred would use my name in vain.
And it's refreshing to find someone not suffering from over-modesty.
What I was trying to say is that we worked on this project together. It's a combined effort.
I'm sure it was.
Well, as long as that's understood.
Oh, it is, it is. It's just that I feel reasonably competent to assess individual performances and to single out those that I feel should be singled out, with all due regard for Mr. Staples' concern for his fellow man. Now then, if Mr. Briggs' ego has been sufficiently nourished...
I don't think Fred brought this out to feed my ego.
Oh? Well, then whatever it was that prompted his precipitate dash to your defense...
There was no dash to my defense.
Why don't we drop the thing, Mr. Briggs? I hate becoming entangled in absurd little personality conflicts. I'll put a star by your name on the front cover if that'll make you happy.
My name is no longer on the front cover.
Mr. Briggs.
You're twisting the entire thing to make it appear as if I were grubbing for some sort of recognition.
Mr. Briggs.
I find it unfair, Mr. Ramsey.
We have a full agenda. If you feel so bruised that you must persist in prolonging this discussion...
Mr. Ramsey!
Let me finish, Mr. Staples, if I may. We have only one purpose here, to work. We cannot hope to accomplish this if we must be continually subjected to these singularly unbecoming strains and tensions, these childish claims and counterclaims. Mr. Briggs, I ask you a simple question. Is it or is it not within my province to credit a man with a job well done?
Of course it is.
Then may we drop it now?
Only if it's clearly understood that I don't submit to any of these calculated discolorations of a man's worth.
As to a man's worth, Mr. Briggs, I think I've proven myself a competent judge. I ask you to recall that I built this business from a scratch pile of used lumber and a few machines into a giant. And I made few mistakes in doing it. Few mistakes in business and few mistakes in judging men.
Well, you've made one this time. This report...
I refuse to engage in a running fight because a supposedly responsible official of this company persists in wasting time haggling over credit.
That is not fair.
I was not haggling over credit.
This is a joint report that we worked on.
Don't presume to tell me what's true and what is not true. What am I, some kind of idiot that I can't recognize another man's thinking? Whatever your abilities in the past, Mr. Briggs, your work hasn't shown this stamp of originality and talent in 10 years. A man slips, clutches, he loses his grip, he tries to hang on by someone else's.
You have no right to say that. Bill, will you please speak up?
Do, by all means, Mr. Briggs. You think I'm mistaken, do you? Shall I go through 150 pages and point out to you line by line where another man has taken over for you? Has had to take over for you?
And I can point out sections of this report that I never had to touch.
Had to, Mr. Staples? Of course you can. Let me show them to you. I've seen them submitted year after year. Principles and precepts for better business. Mr. Briggs' yearly platitudes. But you translated his unworkable, well-intentioned philosophy into tough, business procedure. You make it work.
Ramsey!
Mr. Briggs, I will not tolerate insubordination on any level. And if anyone here finds that intolerable, he has the God-given right to offer his resignation.
Bill. Please.
Mr. Ramsey, I had no intention of seeming insubordinate.
Meeting is adjourned.
Mr. Briggs. Mr. Briggs.
Bill? Bill, can you hear me?
Little bottle of pills. Coat. Office.
Get some water. Yeah. Brannigan, get an ambulance. I'll call Dr. Blake. Don't move him.
Fred, he's still giving orders. Do me a favor, Fred.
What, Bill?
Tell him. Go to...
Hello? Thank you, Mr. Staples. 5 minutes ago.
Just had word from the hospital. He died 5 minutes ago.
Thank you, Mr. Brannigan.
Nancy, what are you doing here?
I called your office. Then there wasn't any train, so I drove here.
How did you know where to find me?
They told me at the hospital. Does Paul know?
Yes, he's with Bill's sister. He's all right.
Did you have something else?
Have you had anything to eat?
Hmm?
Have you eaten anything?
Barley sandwich?
Fred, what happened?
Nothing. Not a thing. Except a murder. There were witnesses, too, plenty of us. And no one lifted a finger to stop it.
Fred.
Nancy, I know I didn't lift a finger.
Don't know. I'm not going to have you going around in sackcloth and ashes for something that you did everything in your power to stop. You begged him to resign. You know that. What more could you have done? What more could anyone have done?
Nancy, I think you'd better go home. Would you take this, please?
Are you coming?
No.
Then I won't go.
I want you to go home and start packing.
Where are we going?
I don't know. Somewhere, anywhere. Just away. There's an awful stink in this town, and we're going to get away from it. Come on, I'll put you in the car.
No, I'm not going to leave you alone.
Nancy, I want you to go home, please.
No, I'm not going tonight. Tomorrow I'll do anything you ask. I'll pack. I'll go anywhere you ask, but not tonight. Not in the state you're in.
Now, look, there's something I've got to do.
Fine. Then we'll do it together.
Bill was supposed to go to Lansing tomorrow morning for a meeting with Phillips. You'll have to take his place. I believe I've already mentioned that.
Yeah, you mentioned it.
You leave on flight number 116, 832 from LaGuardia. Miss Lanier will meet you at the airport with your reservation and all the memoranda and correspondence pertaining to the negotiation. You'll have 3 uninterrupted hours in the air to familiarize yourself with all the details.
I have no interest whatever in the Phillips matter.
What was that?
I'm telling you that I don't want the job. I'm through. I'm quitting. I resign as of now.
Why?
Because I hate your guts. You used Bill Briggs for a whipping boy. You made him knuckle under and then you beat him to death. You wouldn't try anything like that with me because I'd kill you first.
I'm not a nice human being. What else?
You're nothing but a freak. You'd drive your people into peak efficiency if they can make it or a grave if they can't. Because Bill Briggs lacked the strength to
and
stand
the
up.
capacity. He was second in command. He had a lot of responsibility to hold, and he cracked under
It was his business, too.
It's no one's business. It belongs only to the best, to those who can control it, sustain it, nurture it, keep it growing. Right now, it belongs to us because we're producing. But in the future, it belongs to whoever has the brains. Familiarize yourself with all the details.
I have no interest whatever in the Phillips matter.
I don't know what just happened. It did that all by itself, y'all. I'm sorry about that. But we're going to just keep going. I don't know why YouTube did that. It sort of just glitched out and rewound 10 seconds. That does it to me sometimes whenever I'm watching something. It does that. But, yeah, my bad. That wasn't anything I did.
What was that?
I'm telling you that I don't...
You know what? I'm just going to fast forward 5 or 10 seconds. That way we don't have to sit through this again. All right, let's just do it from there.
You made him knuckle under and then you beat him to death. You wouldn't try anything like that with me because I'd kill you first.
I'm not a nice human being. What else?
You're nothing but a freak. You'd drive your people into peak efficiency if they can make it or a grave if they can't. Because Bill Briggs lacked the strength to
and the
stand up.
capacity. He was second in command. He had a lot of responsibility to hold, and he cracked under
It was his business, too.
It's no one's business. It belongs only to the best, to those who can control it, sustain it, nurture it, keep it growing. Right now, it belongs to us because we're producing. But in the future, it belongs to whoever has the brains, the nerve, and the skill to take it away from us.
Well, they can have my share of it right now because I don't want any part of it.
What do you want from me? Apologies? I don't apologize. What else? A nice unsullied conscience? You walk out of here with a halo because you spoke your mind? What do you do then? Go to work for some nickel and dime outfit run by nice people who won't challenge you and prod you and goad you and drive you to a height you never even dreamed of? A company where there's nothing to fight for because you're the best and there's no competition? Where everything is handed to you and nothing is worth fighting for? I want you to stay.
I don't think you understand, Ramsey. I don't like you. I don't like anything about you.
I didn't hire you to like me. All right, I'm not a nice person in your eyes. But whatever I am, you learn more, grow more, and do more here with me than anywhere else on earth. I want you to stay because I need help on my level. And you're the only one who's able to function there. Be a conscience for me if you want. Be anything you like. And if it's something I don't like, you'll know about it soon enough. I think you're strong enough to take it. And if not, I think you're strong enough to get out. Name your terms. All terms are negotiable.
I don't think so. Not mine.
All right. I just as soon not waste any time doing trading. As of now, your salary is doubled. Your stock option is doubled right down the line. Your expense account is whatever you make it. Add to that a new title, Vice President.
I want a lot more than that. You're not going to take me on as just another vice president you can push around. You take me as someone who hates you down to the bare nerve. Nothing in the world will ever change that. I'll argue with you, contradict you, fight you in every way I know how. I'll do everything in my power to push you out and take your place myself.
Go ahead and try. Mr. Staples, you have yourself a deal.
Have it drawn up.
No reservations now?
Yes, one. Bill had one pitiful little dream that someday he'd walk in here and break your jaw. I reserve the right to have that wish for myself.
I'll have it drawn into the contract, with a little rider giving me the same privilege. Staples, you'll be pleased to know that Bill Briggs' boy is being taken care of.
Will that let you sleep better tonight?
It begins, huh?
It begins. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Do we pack?
No. We stay.
On whose terms?
Mine and his.
Are you satisfied?
Yes.
Oh, Fred.
You know, it's easy enough to chuck something you think is wrong, but I don't know, this way maybe there's a chance.
I'm so happy.
Well, we'll see. I've got to go to Lansing. Morning plane.
When will you be back?
Tomorrow night. I'll be late.
Aren't you always?
Well, there you have it, folks. I mean, what can you say, dude? What can you say? I mean, oh my goodness. The dude's just such a talented writer, man. Like, I couldn't believe it the first time I watched that. I was just like, like, bravo, dude. Bravo. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. Everybody's digging the lighting. I just love that film, The Wild Lighting. There's actually a word for it, and I had it written down in my notebook when I was doing notes for Citizen Kane. I forget the name of the lighting, but yeah, the lighting in those old black and white pictures are so good. Theta Zord says encore. Actually, we are gonna watch something come up. It's not the end yet. We got something pulled up a little bit shorter, a little bit newer. But yeah, I mean, what can you say about that? Moldy Apple was making a good point there. Where he says, I'm kind of torn at that last the climactic argument between Ramses and the main character. And yeah, that's what I love about it is that they don't. It's not some cartoonish caricature of like the big industrialist capitalist versus the what do they call it, socialist everyman guy. It's real, and it's a real sort of struggle between those two ways of viewing the world. And it's like, on one hand, yeah, Ramsey's dad was for the everyman, and he did lay nobody off during the Depression. But his son is the one that turned it into $1 million company, and he's helping the economy and the people in that way too. But it's two different ways of sort of going about it. And obviously nowadays, looking back, we can see sort of. We can long for the good old days when companies actually cared about their people and stuff. And, I'm certainly not the person to argue about the point either way, but I just love the way that they depict that struggle between those worldviews and between those ways of doing business and stuff in a realistic way. And I mean, how can you not love the sort of interpersonal tension between that? I'm gonna hate you every day, you motherfucker. I'm gonna break your jaw one day, maybe. It's like, all right, I might break yours too. That's just so good, dude. So good, and just one of the greatest examples of Rod Serling's brilliance. And the funny thing is that he wrote that. Like I said, it was the 70-second script he wrote. He didn't think anything of it, and the studio executives seen it and were like, we're making this, and then it just blew up, and made Rod Serling super popular. And Rod Serling was doing this for Kraft television series right around the advent of television. This was when television really was coming into its own, and it was the Wild West. I mean, there was no standards. It was a revolutionary period. People were trying out different things in movies, all sorts of different stuff going on. And that golden age of television was just starting to blossom, and he was right there on the ground floor during that. So Rod Serling is definitely an interesting character when it comes to the history of TV. Jason says, watching these old films reminds me of watching similar films and westerns with my grandfather, rest in peace. We both especially love to watch a film called Razor's Edge. Oh, Razor's Edge, that sounds familiar. Let me look it up. Oh man, that's awesome, Jason. And God bless your grandfather. Razor's Edge. Let's see, 1984 with is it 1980s movie? Or I think it's saying the book was written in 44. Yeah, a novel by W. Mogman in 1944. Let's see. Oh, 1946, The Razor's Edge. There's a 46 movie. That's probably the one you're talking about. Edmund Golding, Tyrone Power, Gene Tierney's in it. Oh, nice, John Payne. No, I don't know if I have this one. Surprisingly, I'll have to check that out. I'm gonna write that down on my list of movies to watch. Tyrone Power, Bill Murray, not the Bill Murray version. Yeah, dude, I'm gonna have to check that out. It was a Wild West, and they still had the creativity to have such beautiful sets, camera shots, acting, writing, so much beauty. I mean, and what a weird thing. You would never, if you just watched that, you would never associate that with Rod Serling and what we know him as. And there were few other times in his career that his writing really matched the same power. The Twilight Zones were all great in their own way, and obviously I love those shows so much, but They didn't bring such an emotional punch in that way, in that long form content. The only other one that really matched it, or maybe not matched it but came close that I've seen, was an episode of The Night Gallery. After the Twilight Zone was finished up, Rod Serling made a deal with this producer to make a series called The Night Gallery. The first season was okay. Rod Serling had pretty much creative control over it, and then by the end of the first season, the producer started coming in and basically took away his creative control. And then the second season just was really lousy, but there was a few good episodes in there. And by the end of the second season, Rod Serling freaking hated the project, he did not want to work for it anymore. And then they did one last third season that was just utter garbage. And that last third season is the only piece of Rod Serling, anthology TV that I don't have on DVD. I really got to get my hands on one of them. But one of the episodes in the second season is one of my all-time favorite works by Rod Serling. It's called They're Tearing Down Tim Riley's Bar. Man, if you guys get a chance to watch that, it makes me cry every time. It's so good, dude. It's so good. But yeah, unfortunately, I can't show those on YouTube. Those are not public domain. But I'm really glad you guys watched that with me. I hope you guys could sort of appreciate it the way I do and see why I like it. And this is one thing I just really love to do, is just to share my love of cinema with people. It's one of my favorite things as a collector. When you have friends over and having all the movies, find the really good ones and show them to your friends, because there's just something so great about showing people great works of art that they've never seen before. So let's go through the chat and see. But the fact that he had the nerve to put in the contract Bill's last request of punching him and breaking his jaw is such a badass move. Yeah, I agree. That was badass, man. I'm busy, but that part had staying power. Memorable. I agree. I absolutely agree. Hope Jerry opens up his theater more often. I mean, I love it, dude. I know that, this isn't the most popular kind of content I do. I know that, it's mainly just hanging out, watching a movie. But that's why I titled this Chill Stream. This isn't my regular shtick. But I said that during Lent, I really don't want to be, pumping out content. And I want to be, focusing on my spiritual life less than talking about it, So I'm going to try to keep doing that, but these are just fun, and since I don't really need, I'm not in a position right now where I need to be, scrounging for pennies and stuff. I don't care if we only have 20 people in the audience. I'm happy with it, man. I'm happy with just having some homies hanging out, watching a movie, doing a little watch party together. It's fun for me. If it's fun for you, then glory to God, man. I was trying to find a foreign cult fiction. Sorry, I got a cough. Cult fiction movie with Patrick Stewart. Love Patrick Stewart. Space vampires that control minds. Can't remember the name, but the other night reminded me to mention it. Oh man, I'm gonna have to look that up. That sounds interesting, dude. I'm gonna have to look that up. Patrick Stewart, space vampires. I mean, I feel like if you Google that, I mean, there's probably not much more that could come up, right? Space vampires. Although maybe Star Trek is gonna show Life Force. Man, that looks familiar, but I don't think I've ever seen it. I've definitely seen the cover before. Life Force is what it's called. All right, let me pull up our next piece of media here. This is a short one. Let's see. Now this one is actually going to be kind of topical because of the cicada. You guys know it's all in the zeitgeist right now with cicadas, and the two broods of the 17-year cicadas are coming out all at once, and it's gonna be the apocalypse. It's the cicadapocalypse, and this is an amazing episode from the 80s Twilight Zone, written by Ray Bradbury, that's got to do with cicadas. And I'm not going to say anything other than it's got to do with cicadas, because otherwise I will spoil it. This is one of my all-time favorite 80s Twilight Zone episodes, so you guys are going to love it. It's in color, so don't worry. I'm not going to subject you to another black and white just yet. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for hanging out. I'm trying to think if there's anything more I could say about patterns. Why do you guys think it's called patterns? I didn't hear them reference patterns at all. I think maybe it's got to do with sort of the patterns of Ramses Jr. versus Ramses Sr., sort of the patterns of how they operate, maybe. I don't know. I often wonder about that. I don't know if maybe I just missed a line of dialogue that would inform it a little bit better, but I don't know. Curious to hear what you guys think if you got any ideas. Yeah, there's more I could say about the golden age of television and stuff like that, but let's just get to our next streaming. Please, if you would, like and share. So, the 80s Twilight Zone. Surprisingly, these are all on YouTube. I don't know if every single episode's on YouTube, but like, look at this. Like, there's a lot of frickin' episodes on here, dude, and I have them all on DVD. The very first episode of the 80s Twilight Zone is with Bruce Willis in it. There's an episode with Morgan Freeman in it from, like, 1985, 1986. Morgan Freeman somehow still looks old. He's got to be like 35 years old. He still looks old in it. It's crazy. This episode doesn't have any notable actors that I could give you their names. The old man in it definitely looks familiar. I'd have to look at the credits to see. The Grateful Dead does the sound, the intro sound for it, and I don't know who does the Rod Serling narrator because he never shows his face. So I never took a noticing of that guy. But the patterns he noticed, building up to his aggressive ousting, perhaps. Yeah. I thought it was like the patterns of being treated less than and taking it. Then I guess the pattern of the stronger person taking over could be. They actually turned Professor X evil last year. What the hell? Nothing is sacred, yeah. Yes, Jerry, and I think it's about the patterns of father and son, boss and employee, authority and rebellion. Yeah, I think that's close, right on the money, dude. Good call there. Good call. All right. So yeah, Grateful Dead intro song. I don't know if this episode's going to show it because this might be a second parter. This one's pretty short, actually, only 11 minutes. Written by Ray Bradbury, based on a story by Ray Bradbury. It's called The Burning Man. Not like the hippie Burning Man, but, The Burning Man. Oh, yeah, and trigger warning. This is creepy, dude.
Fire eater! I'm eating fire ant, Neva!
Not much longer, Doug, we'll be splashing in the lake.
God, must be 100 degrees. Think it's up to 100 yet?
Probably more. Oh, Mr. Ritter said it's hottest July in 16, 17 years.
Oh! That's where I know this guy from. That's got to be the Salt Man from Home Alone, right? That's the guy that's dragging the metal trash can and shoveling salt in Home Alone. I knew him from somewhere, dude. That's what it is. Nice. Don't know his name, but...
Look!
I'll be darned. You stopped.
I'll be darned. I did. Where are you going?
I'll think of someplace. Come on, get going. It's after us.
What?
The sun. What do you think? Come on, get going. We'll all go mad. Put her up to 70, 80, hell, 90 if she'll do it. Get some air. You ever try to figure whether or not the weather's driving you crazy, or are you crazy already?
I don't quite understand.
Day like today, hot, all hell breaks loose inside your head. Feel like you're gonna split wide open. Lucifer was born on a day like this. Ain't this the summer when the 17-year locust is supposed to come back? I say, it's
I don't know.
It is. This is the summer. I know. I can feel it. Yes, sir. There's more to the world than people appreciate. If there can be 17-year locusts, why not 17-year people?
17-year people?
Sure. Or 24-year people, or 57-year people. I mean, we're so used to people growing up, getting married, having kids. We don't stop to think. Maybe there's other ways of people coming into the world. Maybe like locusts.
Like locusts?
And who's to say there ain't genetic evil in the world?
What kind of evil did you say?
Genetic, ma'am. In the blood. People born evil, growed evil.
Wait, you mean like early life?
Evil, no changes down the line.
You mean people who start out bad stay at it?
You got the sum, boy. If there are people everyone says are angel fine from their first sweet breath to their last, why not sheer orneriness? From January 1st to December 31st, 365 days a year.
I never thought of it that way.
What if the intense heat, I mean the really hot heat of a day like this, just baked the ornery man right out of river mud? Been buried down there 57 years like a damn larva waiting to be born. And he shakes himself awake, looks around, full grown, climbs out of the hot mud into the world. And after a while, along about dark, his old carcass splits wide open, like a snap bean. And out he steps, fresh-born, young again, eyes blazing, and says, I think I'll eat me some summer.
What?
Eat me some summer, boy. Look at them trees. Ain't that whole dinner? That grass down there, by golly, that's a feast. Them sunflowers, there's breakfast. Tar paper on top of that house, there's lunch. And gee, Jehoshaphat, that lake down the road, there's dinner wine. Drink it all till the bottom dries up and splits wide open.
I'm getting kind of thirsty, Aunt Eva.
Thirsty? Hell, boy. Thirst don't describe the state of a man who's been waiting in the hot mud 50 years and then gets born only to die again in one day. Not only thirst, but hunger. Hunger. Not only the trees and the flowers, but the white, hot, panting dogs, and all the cats in the county. And just glutton happy begins to, why not get around? How does this strike you? Eat people.
What?
I mean people. Fried, cooked, boiled, and parboiled. Men, women, boys, ladies, fill up the menu. Sharpen your teeth. Lick your chops. Dinner is on.
Stop! Out.
What?
Out.
Here?
Here, right now. Just get out.
But, ma'am...
I got a load of Bibles in the back. A pistol with silver bullets here under the steering wheel. I got a box of crucifixes under the seat. A wooden stake taped to the axle and a hammer in the glove box. I got holy water in the radiator filled early this morning at 3 churches on the way. The steam will get you from that alone now. Out, 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 out!
You must be nuts. Crazy. You hear?
I'm nuts. I'm crazy. Boy.
What do my folks do? Go crazy with their son? You're nuts.
Aunt Neva, I never heard you talk like that before.
You never will again, Doug.
Did you guys catch what he was saying? Because I saw Jason say, what the heck? This is hilarious. You hear what he's telling the kid, right? He was saying, like, you know, oh, this is the summer where the 17-year locusts are gonna come up. He's like, you ever think maybe people could be born that way? Like maybe, you know, while we're all so used to kids being born regular, what if there's people that are born like locusts, you know? What if it's not just 17 years? What if it's 20 years or 50 years? What do you think it would be like if a man was under the ground for 50 years, comes up and only lives for one day? You know, he'd be hungry. He'd want to eat all the grass and all the sunflowers, the cats, the dogs. Maybe he'd want to eat some people. And then he's sitting there talking about, you think there's genetic evil in the world? Do you think some people are just born evil and they're just always going to be so friggin' creepy, dude? It's just, I love that. It's so creepy.
You said true?
Not a word.
You lied. I mean, you lied.
Don't you think he was lying too?
I don't know.
Well, all I know is sometimes it takes a lie to kill a lie. This time, anyway.
Oh. Say that again, Aunt Neva.
Sometimes it takes a lie to kill a lie.
No, the thing about the Bibles in the back and the silver bullet.
I got a load of Bibles in the back. A pistol with silver bullets under the steering wheel.
Oh, for real, Moldy? Dang, dude, that's creepy. And, you know, of course, they just did that Dahmer show. Frickin', you know, they just spread that nastiness around. My goodness, bro. Yeah, one of the things, too, that this episode makes you wonder is, like, is he talking about himself? Like, the very beginning episode, you hear that noise, and he comes up out the ground, and the dude's just covered in mud. But then when they throw him out, he's like, what are you, crazy? You wonder, like, is this guy actually, like, a friggin' locust?
Aunt Neva, listen. You don't think... I mean, there really couldn't be... And Eva, is there another road back to town?
No.
Nothing can happen to us going home.
Nothing. Come on.
We really did.
Really did what, Doug?
Have a box of crosses under the seat. Going into town?
Yeah. What on earth are you doing way out here?
Got lost at the picnic. Folks went off and left without me.
Oh, land sakes.
Sure glad you came along. Kind of spooky out here, huh?
Well, come on, hop in.
Have you ever wondered if there's such a thing as genetic evil in the world?
Dude, I friggin' love that episode so much. I love the face of that kid when he's just looking back like just terrified. Isn't that awesome? I love that episode so much. It's just a short little like boom. Oh, so good. So good, dude. Oh damn, okay, so the very next episode is the Morgan Freeman one. And then there's also a Lovecraft one. That's kind of like Lovecraftian and stuff. I'll leave it up to the audience. Let me look through and see if there's any other ones. So the one with Morgan Freeman is called Dealer's Choice. It's also got, what the heck is that guy's name? He was in The Crew. I always forget his name. Richard, I forget his name. Let me look through these and see. But yeah, we got a Lovecraftian episode. We got the Morgan Freeman episode. Yeah, up to you guys. All right, put your yeah, Richard Dreyfuss. Thank you, first person Q. Richard Dreyfuss and Morgan Freeman. Theodore says it was hilarious on the Crucible stream. It was like the modern version of Abbott Costello bit. I love Abbott and Costello. Richard Simmons. Yes, yeah, it was brutal, dude. I was watching that Crucible debate. It was brutal, bro. All right. So, put it in the chat. What do you guys want to see? You want to see Morgan Freeman or the Lovecraftian episode? They're both really good. Morgan Freeman one's kind of more of a comedy, whereas the Lovecraftian episode called Grandma is really creepy. The Crew, yes, Crew is really fun. I'm leading more towards the Lovecraft episode. Yeah, first person Q says Lovecraft. Let's see we got to get it. That's 2 votes for Lovecraft. If y'all don't vote, that's what we're going with here. Bill wants to see Morgan Freeman. We will get to both of them because they're short. Okay, we got 2 for Morgan Freeman, 2 for Lovecraft. Skittle, Jack, Lovecraft. All right, everybody's voting Lovecraft. All right, that's what we're going to do. So the Lovecraft episode's called Grandma. Super creepy, dude. Now this one, I believe, and I'm pretty certain, is written by Stephen King. And this is the Grateful Dead intro I was telling you about. I will say, this is not actually based on a Lovecraft story. This is a Lovecraftian story written by Stephen King.
Now listen, George, I want you to write down the doctor's name just in case.
Give me a break, Mom. It's Dr. Arlander.
And you've got the number of the hospital and the area code?
Mom! Lewiston's only 19 miles. It's not in the moon, for Pete's sake.
I'll call you and let you know how bad your brother is.
How bad can he be? He broke his ankle sliding into third. That don't make him a basket case.
Doesn't make him, not don't. You be all right?
I told you I'll be okay.
If Grandma wakes up and calls for her tea...
Mom, what do you think? I'm not gonna make it for her. Come on, I'll be all right.
Georgie, you're not still scared to stay alone with Grandma, are you? The way you used to be?
Mom, I'm not 6 anymore. I'm 11 now. I'm cool. Tell Buddy I'm sorry he broke himself up.
You'll be all right.
What a great way to start the story. You're not still afraid to stay with Grandma anymore, are you? Uh-oh.
I wish I was any place but here.
Fell asleep, spang in the middle of the sermon. Well, says I to myself, if she hadn't been out till all hours night before.
No, not quite. Not quite. Totally normal. Everything looks good. A normal Midwestern day. Page 3. Yog, Sothoth, Cthulhu.
George, bring me my tea.
Dude, for real, this is the most messed up episode of Dragon Tales I ever seen. Dragon Tales, Dragon Tales. Did y'all catch that? Did you guys catch that? His shadow got sucked under the door. I love that. Check this out.
Tea! Bring me my tea!
If Grandma wakes up and calls for her tea.
Mom, what do you think? I'm not gonna make it for her. Georgie! Tea! 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 Georgie!
Ruth, you have to take her. I've got kids. She scares them.
And how do you think Georgie feels? Every time she reaches out to hug him, he runs howling. Your kids,
It won't be for long, Ruth. She's totally blind and to hypertension, and God only knows how her heart can keep up with all that weight.
You know how to deal with her best, Ruth. You know how to shut her up. Oh, how I treasure you, my dearest loving brothers and sister. You're turning me into a sharecropper in my own life.
She's more dangerous now that she's senile. What makes you think she's senile? Just because none of the neighbors' houses haven't burned to the ground? Just because their dogs haven't come home lately with pieces of human meat in their mouths? Just because no babies have been born without fingers? Is that what makes you think the trail of evil has stopped?
Hello, Grandma. Oh, God. What if she dies on me while Mom's up to the hospital? She won't. Yeah, but what if she does? Okay, I'm gonna count to 10, and if she doesn't move, it'll mean she won't die while I'm watching her. Please, God, don't let her wake up until Mom comes home. I'll never say the F word again. Amen. Wait a minute. The key went through the floor. No way I go back in there. Forget it. I'm not going back in there. Yeah, but now wait a minute. Catch hold of this. What if that's some kind of secret place Grandma's got in there, full of secret stuff? I don't care if it's full of all the neatest stuff I ever wanted in the whole world. Forget it. I'm not going back in there. She might wake up.
She's our mother. Medea was someone's mother. Messalina, Lucretia Borgia, Typhoid Mary. Mothers, every one of them.
You want me to scream? Is that what you want?
Ruth, God help us. We're looking out for ourselves. You're our sister, but if you don't contain this thing, please, Ruth, please.
Just get away.
Shut up. The boys will hear. Well, she had babies, and they didn't die. That's for sure. Otherwise, Mom and Uncle Jim and Aunt Sue wouldn't have been born. They could have got me. It could have burnt my head off. But nothing's on fire. It doesn't feel hot. Sounds like a lot of people are screaming from down there. I bet that's hell. But it's cold, it's not hot. Something's down there.
Oh, hell no.
Grandma's books. The ones they won't talk about. Oh, wow. Now I find out what all the whispering's been about.
Hell no.
Necronomicon, the incunabula of the mad Arab Abdul al-Hazred. What's this stuff mean? The return of the great old ones? Hoster and Yog-Sothoth. Frightful sleeper in the deep. Cthulhu. Cthulhu. What a dumb name for something. I can't read this stuff. It must be in some super secret ancient language. Arab or French or like that. Oh, Grandma wrote all this. Like a diary. So that's how she was able to have babies after they kept dying. And they threw her out of the church. Wow! Grandma's a witch. That's dumb. No, it ain't. Certainly is. There's no such thing as witches. I offer my light to Cthulhu, he who drinks from the chalice of night.
Young son of Hulu, Hulu.
Grandma? 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 Do you want your tea now, Grandma? I spilled some, but I have some more. Grandma? I never heard Grandma make a sound like that before. She said stuff from the book. Now I'm gonna get it. Mom's really gonna kill me. She died while I was watching her, but he's really gonna get on my case. Well, maybe she's just having one of her bad spells. Yeah, sure, like the night all the graves in the cemetery blew up. Grandma? Maybe you're just sleeping, huh? Maybe you're just sleeping. What that was? I'll tell you what that was. That was an authentic death-type rattle, and Grandma's gone, dead, out of it. Mom's gonna kill me. No way I touch her. Pulse or no pulse. Yuck. Nothing. Oh, boy. Well, Dr. Arlander, I took her pulse, and it was my conclusion, you see, that she was, deceased. Grandma, that is. Oh, boy. Wait a minute. The detectives always hold a mirror up to the corpse's face. No way I'm getting that close. Don't be a wuss. What am I supposed to see? They never tell you in the movies. Breath, yeah, right. It would get foggy like a window in the winter. Last chance, Grandma. Stop fooling around, okay? Wake up or Mom will chew me out for letting you die. I better do it again. Maybe I didn't let it sit long enough. Maybe if I do everything right, I won't catch it. You're gonna catch it, chump. There's no which way about it. You're in deep, you know what. Miss Dawn, get off the phone, Miss Dawn. It's an emergency. Miss Dawn! Miss Dawn, get off the phone. I gotta call the hospital. Get off the damn hell phone, Miss Dawn. My grandma's dead. Get off the party line, Miss Dawn. Miss Dawn, can't you hear me? I gotta call my mom.
I wouldn't be surprised if she turned.
Swell. Screwed up again like it did 2 weeks ago with the storm. Damn hell, Miss Dawn. You got the biggest mountain in the whole world in Mars, too. Oh, boy. I'm gonna get killed for sure. Oh, boy. I wish I'd never found this stuff. nobody's fault. Why do you have to break his leg?
Cover her face. It's a sacrilege. Cover her face.
Heck no. I'm done going in there. I touched her once already, didn't I? Listen, Dr. Arlander. I made her tea. I took her pulse. I even did the thing with the mirror. So what if I didn't cover her face? I don't want to do this. Boy, I'm telling you, I did not want to do this. I don't want to do this. Oh boy, I don't want to do this.
Grandma! No! Please! Please don't! Don't! Grandma, please don't hurt me! Grandma, please!
Tell her the names! The names! Say the magic names!
Grandma won't stop you.
Be still, Grandma! Lay down!
Come here, Georgie.
No, Grandma! What's her name? Kulu! Kulu!
Yes!
No! Grandma! No!
I want to hug you, Georgie. Come to Grandma now. What a good little boy. You were always Grandma's favorite.
Such a wind. I'm sorry it took so long to get back, Georgie. There were trees down. It's freezing in here. Georgie? Something wrong?
Mama, Grandma died. I didn't know what to do. I was awful scared.
It's okay, honey. Oh, it's okay. She was old. She's gone to a better place. It wasn't your fault. Oh. She's not really gone, honey. Grandma will always be with us. We'll never forget her. We'll always know Grandma's with us.
You could say that again. Dun-dun-tsh. I've always loved that episode. So freaking creepy, dude. So creepy. Come on, Grandma. What you doing, Grandma? Knock it off. All right, and for our last one, we're going to do Dealer's Choice with Morgan Freeman and I already forgot his name. What the hell was his name? All right. Yeah, what'd you guys think of that? I hate that you can't see her face except for that one little second. I was going to try to pause it, but I didn't feel like messing around trying to back up. The face is so creepy, dude. I love the old rubber mask makeup and stuff. So cool. Theta Zord loved it. So I got no idea about the visuals, but this works even as just an audio. It's so creepy, dude. Just the setup. You know, the ending of it is kind of cheesy. There's all the yelling and blah, 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 blah. But just the setup of it is just, oh, it's just creepy, man. It's just creepy. So did he summon the old ones, or were they already summoned by Grandma? The way it seems is like that him saying the names like gave her the power to do it. Like she like tricked him. She lured him in. She made him break the tea, you know, and then she is like projecting her voice into his head, saying like, "Oh, go cover her face," you know. So Bill says, "Very creepy episode. I'm listening with headphones. Got to say the sound design in this is nice." And he's a few minutes behind, as always. Don't spoil it. I'm still behind. How am I spoiling it? Oh, you're talking about in the chat. I was gonna say if you're behind, I can't really. All right. So dealer's choice coming up. And I swear, dude, this episode makes me think that Morgan Freeman he's never been young, ever. Good night, Dr. Crispy. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for hanging out.
Oh, guys, wait a second. Oh, say, next to right in there. Anybody want to cut? No.
Just a friendly game of cards. It doesn't take much to buy into this game, but buying out.
And this dude, come on.
It doesn't.
This dude, he just died recently. He was in one of my favorite Tales from the Crypt episodes, the one where his wife taxidermies him. A Collection Complete, was that the episode name? I loved that episode. But yeah, this guy just died recently. What a bummer.
Take much to buy into this game, but buying out may be something else entirely. You see, there's a wild card on the table in a deck that's been reshuffled and cut in the Twilight Zone.
King High Straight. Can you beat it?
Full house. 6 is over jacks.
Oh.
Believe it, another full house. Hey, Nick, right?
Yeah, Nick.
Who'd you say you were here for?
Here for?
Yeah, who you sitting in for?
Oh, Norman. He's my cousin.
Yes, that guy. This guy here was Jerry Seinfeld's dad. My son bought me a new Cadillac. Well, my son can't buy me a new Cadillac. Come on.
All right, Norman. He's sick, huh?
Yep. Shirley made him stay home.
All right, time to wake up here. See if we can't goose things up. Maybe change the game.
Don't trust Whitey.
You mean change the game? I mean, it's dealer's choice, and I want to play another game. Ain't no other game, man. We playing poker. That's the game. Yeah, but 5-card stud all the time. I mean, it ain't the only game in town, you know.
I know that. You think I don't know that? What do you got in mind anyway? Night baseball?
Yeah, that's what I got in mind.
I don't believe it. A weenie game? What's night baseball? That's a game they play in Weenie City, where Tony's from.
Eat tight.
I'm gonna go get me a beer. You girls work this out.
Ain't that the game where you get all the cards down, you can't look at them?
Yeah, nine's wild.
My grandmother plays that.
Oh, lay off, will you?
She's in a nursing home.
Oh, Peter, I told you, knock it off.
Hey, Peter, you're out of beer. Where's the beer?
So we're out of beer.
Whose house is this anyway? You are supposed to provide beer?
Ran out, so sue me.
Do I play all the cards at once?
Oh, no, Marty, no. You turn the cards up one at a time, and you bet every time. You got it?
Tony, get off it, man. Look, are we gonna talk, fellas, or are we gonna play cards? Let's
Fine,
go, let's go.
Fine. We'll play 5-card stud like we always do. Forget I said anything. Forget I tried to bring any variety into your otherwise dreary lives. Forget I tried to teach you anything. All right, Marty, you got a king. Open. That 5-card stud would drop dead.
How a guy can run out of beer in his own house, you know, it is a mystery to me.
Well, I'm sorry, all right? I drank some this afternoon.
Another 6 for Nick there.
Another 6? What is it with you and sixes?
Hey, did you guys see that movie that was all about poker? Streetcar Called Desire. It was on TV. A guy in it says to his wife, "Don't nothing belong on a poker table except cards and whiskey." Cracked me up.
It's a super story, Marty. How come you drank today?
You know, nothing to do, and you know, TV's broke.
Well, get a job, Peter.
I told you, the market's soft.
Your head's soft.
Pete, does your wife have a job?
Pete don't like to talk about his wife there, Nick.
I'm sorry, Pete. Something happened.
Oh, she's fine. You just don't like her very much.
I fold. Peter, where's the head?
Same place it was an hour ago, Marty.
Right.
Another 6 for Nick. It's a pair.
Another 6? What is it with you, guy? I mean, I don't want to sound improprietous, but you get a hell of a lot of 6s for one guy.
Really? I haven't even noticed. I'm gonna fold these. Pete, do you have any water?
Yeah, in the kitchen. Keeping the faucet saves on space, you know?
Right. Excuse me, darling.
I know it. Something's up with that guy.
Yeah, like that last hand he won. 6 over jacks.
Matter of fact, it seems to me that every hand he has won, 3 6s has had something to do with it. 6, 6, 6.
It ain't normal, a guy getting 3 6s every hand. And I think we all know what 3 6s has been known to mean.
Oh, yeah. Evil sign or something. 666.
Right. So maybe if a guy got thinking, maybe if he didn't know better, maybe he might think that Nick was the devil.
Wait a minute. Let's be really sure, beyond an absolute doubt. Peter, look under his down card.
Wait a minute, you can't do that. We're still playing.
Tony, maybe this is more important, huh? Go ahead, Peter. Man, that proves it, man. It's him. It's the guy.
But what's the devil doing here in New Jersey?
What are you talking about, Tony? I think he lives here.
All right, well, what's he doing here in this house?
Let's call Norman. It's his cousin. He should know.
Tony, I think I know. I mean, there's only one reason the devil goes someplace, man, and everyone knows it. He's come for one of us.
Get out of here.
No, Tony, I mean it, man. Look, man, I watch the news. The question is who?
I watch the news.
Peter's house.
Yeah, so what? Jake's the one with the chest pains.
Oh, no way, fellas. Hey, they're all gone, man. I mean, really, I never felt so good.
Hey, guys. Norman's not home.
Is anything wrong?
We just tried to call Norman. Norman's not home sick. Norman's not home, period.
Yeah. What do you got to say about that, huh, Mr. 666?
Norman's out visiting a sick uncle. Excuse me. Make that a dead uncle.
You mean you really are him?
I guess I am, Tony.
And all that jazz about being Norman's cousin, that was just a scam?
Well, I guess I should have said something sooner. I knew you were going to make a fuss, though. And I didn't want to spoil a good card game.
Thanks a lot, pal. Thanks for sitting in and taking our money.
No, come on. The money you can keep.
Not about the money. It's the principle of the thing, you know?
Yeah, that's right. You know, a guy wants to sit in and play poker with some guys, he should come up and say, hello, hi, I'm the Prince of Darkness. Can I sit in for a few hands?
You're right. I apologize. But trust me, you can keep the money. You all need it more than I do. All except one of you.
might that be?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Give us a break, will you? It's one thing being a devil. It's another thing being a total jerk.
Yeah, now come on. Which one of us is it? Jake, right? Because of that thing he did at Pete's bachelor party, right? Right?
You take a hike, Tony. I gave each of them girls new shoes.
Damn.
Oh, look, it's because of my wife walking out on me. You know, I know I was yelling and screaming at her too much, but, you know, it hardly seems fair, you know, that I get a hot seat down there with my name on it just because a little screaming and yelling.
Seems fair to me.
Shut up.
Don't you tell me to shut up. I'm not your-
Gentlemen, please. We're all card players, right? Huh? Why don't we make a little game of it? Each one of you pick a card, and the highest card wins. Right? Tony, pick a card. Huh?
What about Marty there?
Yeah. Isn't he still in the bathroom?
Yeah, he's probably still in there reading the back of my Mr. Bubble bottle. Marty loves to read.
Yeah.
Marty would pick a low card anyway. There are some people that are just too innocent to corrupt. Not like you, gentlemen. Tony, pick a card. Jake? Pete?
Listen, Pete, we're gonna clean up around here, okay? Don't worry about the mess.
I'll call your wife. She'll take it all right. It's kind of what she's been wanting anyway.
Oh, yeah, can I have your bowling ball?
It was rigged. You forced the cards like those magic guys do. You knew it was me all the time, didn't you?
Guys, I had a great time. Thanks a lot. Peter and I have to go now.
No. No.
Peter.
I ain't going. Not yet.
Peter,
I don't want it.
you really don't have any choice in the matter. Come on. It's late.
Hold it there, guy. I think what Peter's trying to say is maybe he needs a fighting chance there.
I'm afraid, gentlemen, that's just not the way that it's done.
Tony is right. It's the honorable thing, and it is done among men such as us. I mean, it may not be the way you do it in hell where you come from, but up here in New Jersey, we do things a little different.
What do you suggest?
Well,
You and me, one-on-one, one hand, winner takes all.
Right. Come on, fella. What you gotta lose, huh? Chances are you're gonna win anyway, right?
What the hell? It's Friday, and I can sleep late tomorrow.
all right, hold it. Our buddy Peter here is betting his immortal soul. What are you putting up?
$18.
It figures. 6 plus 6 plus 6 equals 18.
No way. 19.
Whoa. That's telling him, Pete.
19.
Believe it was my idea? Dealer's choice? I call the game? Low ball.
What's that? What's low ball? In regular poker, high hand wins, right? Right. In low ball, low hand wins, see? So you don't want any good cards. Look, in low ball, one pair beats two pair. No pair, no matching cards at all beats a pair. So you want as many cards in your hand as possible that are different. You don't want any cards that are alike. Like sixes. If you've been getting 3 big, nasty sixes like Nick's been doing all night, then you might as well pack your tent and go home. What do you say, Nicky, baby? Give it up, devil. You might as well.
Mr. Devil to you.
See this guy here? This is a man's man here. This is a man I'd be proud to call my friend. What's going on? Nick's the devil and Peter's playing it.
Nice.
How much? $19. That's if Pete wins. If Pete loses, Nick there gets to take his soul. There it is. You got it.
Fives and low ball. What kind of hand is that?
Well, don't sweat it. You still got him. He's got another 6 coming.
I love this mano a mano crap.
There it is. 3 of a kind. Nick's out of here.
There it is. It's a one-way ticket to Hellsville. Oh, boy.
No, wait a minute. It all depends on what he's got underneath there. I mean, he might have a 4th 6, in which case you win, right? I mean, he could have a 4th 6 under there, in which case your 4 5s will beat his 4.
Tony, do you know the odds against something like that happening? 1,000,000 to 1.
No more games.
Let's go, Peter. Nobody move until Peter and I have gone.
I don't get it. What's this card mean?
Don't touch my card!
It's a 6! Peter's the 4th 6! You're right. That means Peter won.
Yes, it's another 6. You got 4 6s, guy.
Tried to trick us.
Yeah, but old Marty here couldn't be fooled. Way to go, Marty. Yeah, you did a sure thing there, Marty. That was a good thing. Thanks.
5s beat 6s?
I'll never get this game.
That wasn't very sporting what you done there.
Yeah, well, then run out of bounds, you ask me. Let me tell you, it's not the way to go around earning somebody's respect in this part of the country, and that's a fact.
Gentlemen, I'm sorry, I really am. I couldn't help myself. I'm the devil. What do you expect?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
sure.
okay, okay. There, I've made it up to you. This is not standard operating procedure, but never let it be said that I am not a generous man. Peter, thank you for your hospitality. Maybe I can host the next game. I'll try to make sure that each one of you is invited. Good night, gentlemen.
Y'all better start going to church.
Hey, guys, come on in here. Come quick. Look at all this stuff. I think I died and went to heaven.
Oh, the fridge is loaded.
Oh, well, all right.
What are we waiting for? Let's dig in.
Hey, Jake, that Dick's not such a bad guy after all, huh?
Maybe not. But I wouldn't want him to marry my sister.
Oh? Is your sister getting married?
I'll tell you one thing. That Nick sure has a weird sense of humor.
Yeah, but I'll say one thing for him. He's got a whole lot of class. So, what is this anyway, huh? Is this a poker game or a hen party? Are we here to talk or are we here to play cards?
Okay.
Hey, Marty, you deal. What'll it be?
How about some 5-card stud?
Oh, fine,
Good game, 5 stud.
So, hey, guys, what about it? Still want to go fishing Sunday morning?
I don't know, Tony. The old lady's been bugging me to go to church.
Church?
Yeah, and I figure this Sunday I might go, to appease her.
Couldn't hurt.
How about you, Peter? You want to go fishing Sunday?
I was thinking of taking a drive up in upstate New York. The wife's up there staying with the mother, and I just thought I might kind of pop in, give her a thrill.
First day bets.
Hey.
Oh, hey. Nick still owes you $19.
Forget it. With all the food in there, I'm calling it even.
There's an old saying, oft told but seldom heeded. Never deal with the devil. But if by chance you must, it's nice to know he can be a good sport. Just a friendly game of cards among a friendly group of guys who have just come back from the Twilight Zone.
So there you have it. Bam, now. Boom. Twilight Zone. Dealer's choice. It's crazy, man. Even the devil episodes back then were more wholesome than nowadays. If this was like a modern frickin' American Horror Story episode, the devil would be in a leather gimp suit having gay sex and frickin' smoking crack or something. Man, dude, we almost went 4 hours, y'all. This was fun, man. I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love these kind of chill streams, dude. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for being here. And thank you to all the people who support the channel, for all the lurkers who's not up in the chat but who watch along with us. Thank you guys so, so much. Thanks for spending your night over at the EPL stream. Please remember on your way out to like, share, leave a comment when the video's done. All those things help push us out there, boost the algorithm, boost the signal, bring other people in when we do these nostalgia streams or when we do more important streams where we're talking about, things that matter and stuff. I do love to every now and again take time to just chill with the homies. Thanks for having us, and thanks for being had. I really appreciate you, brother. Once more, we will shout out all the people who sent in super chats, and for all the people over on Patreon. Thank you guys so much, dude. You really keep me going. KF, James, Jason, Anna, Bag of Dirt, John MC, Lisa, Jeremiah, Romans 125, Acorn Fortino, and Brandon Duffin. Thank you so much. And to Jason Scholl, who sent in $5. And to our homie, I believe it was Thetazord, who sent in $20. I believe that was everything. Thank you guys so much, dude. And until next one, I will see you guys later. I hope you all have a great night. And yeah, keep watching the skies. Keep watching them old films. And think of me next time you guys pop on one of those old radio shows or one of those old movies. And if you can, remember me, a sinner in your prayers. God bless you guys, and I hope you make it to church, and hope you continue your fast, and hope it is fruitful for you guys. God bless. Peace.